6, 7, I have lost count. Hello and welcome in, race fans, to tonight's event. It is time for race 20 on the season here in the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. We are out in Pocono, and we are here tonight to eliminate 2 more playoff contenders before it's all said and done. Joining me alongside, as always, is my co-host, Tom Richter. How's it going tonight, Tom?
Good evening, Arie. Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Tricky Triangle from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. I know drivers have had this one kind of on the back of their minds here. Pocono poses the risks for both long green flag runs and also big wrecks.
That it does, and right now we're looking at the trickiest part of this tricky triangle, and that is turn 2, the tunnel turn, specifically the exit of this corner right underneath where the camera is positioned, that wall right there. I expect that to catch quite a few drivers out tonight. It's, I guess, Pocono's equivalent of the Darlington Stripe. You'll usually get it out of turn 2 here, and everyone at least grazes it one time.
3 different corners, 3 different corner radius that these drivers are going to have to work their way around. Out here tonight at Pocono, through the high-speed corners, turn 2, one of the trickiest on the entire NASCAR circuit, and one of the most difficult ones that these drivers are going to have to deal with all season long. Following along with one of our championship-eligible drivers, Cody Gibson, winner of the last 3 races, and looking to go for a ham bone 4 in a row.
That's right, 4 in a row, which would be quite the accomplishment, very rarely ever seen here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Cody Gibson looking to add his name with some more history tonight. But here at Pocono, Tom, this is going to be a track where it's a lot more difficult than maybe some of your more traditional skill-based tracks, like the ones that Cody Gibson has won on in recent weeks. You come out here and there's a lot of other factors at play, none bigger than the fact that you are pretty much pack racing on the start of the race and at every subsequent restart for at least a couple laps.
You certainly are until the field starts to separate a little bit. And here at Pocono, it provides an additional challenge over a place like, say, Las Vegas or Kansas, where you may see a similar style of racing, but there's a lot of banking to lead on there. Not the case here at Pocono, just 11 degrees in turn number 3, and then it's pretty much a flat shot through turns 1 and 2. But other drivers that are fast out here tonight, Arie, we were kind of talking about this driver in practice. Has been here the past couple of weeks, been kind of running mid-pack, maybe being a little bit careful. But Frank DiMaggio, he's got some speed on that 24 out here tonight.
He certainly does. Since he made his return to the Cyber Thunder Racing League, he's been just kind of testing the waters, feeling it out. And like you said, running mid-pack, getting a feel for how everyone around him races. And now out here in this practice session, he's currently sitting P3 on the charts. Frank is a previous winner here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League, looking to get back to those winning ways now with the modern field and competition. So we'll see what that 24 truck can do.
As we finish out opening practice out here tonight, we're going to take a look at the upcoming schedule on the Scrambler Series. Next week, we're going to be at Texas Motor Speedway, followed by Michigan. And then, can you believe, Arie, we are already talking about our championship race on February 10th at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
It's pretty hard to believe. To tell you what, the season has absolutely flown by. Already 20 races in as of tonight is a pretty insane stat to think about. And we've got a really exciting end to the season coming up. We've got the biggest race Cyber does every single year coming up, the Cyber 500 2026 edition on the 22nd of February. I'm looking forward to that one big time. I've got a little bit of unfinished business there myself, and I think I speak for everyone here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League when I say we can't let Ed win a 3rd in a row.
Definitely not, as checkered flag falls over qualifying here. Let's set the stages while we wait for a couple of cars to roll off a pit road out here. Race is scheduled for 90 laps out here tonight. First stage is lap number 25. Second stage ends at lap number 50. So easy for drivers to remember out here. 2 sets of 25 lap runs.
That's right. And first name that I see light up on the board, it's the War Wagon. Amanda Sherman in that 88 Toyota Tundra, going to be hauling off a pit road. You can see just how much that front bumper lifts up off the ground, accelerating from a dead stop down into the corners we go. Amanda's going to be rocking the Daisy Rip and other pets truck that has been out there since what race was that? Maybe like the 8th race of the season where we had the furry friends, and Amanda has not given up that paint scheme yet.
I want to say you're correct. A couple of drivers sticking with old paint schemes. So we've got a couple of Christmas paint schemes out here, and well, it's almost February. But hey, you know what? Stick with the spirit, as Amanda. On the, I always get these confused. I guess this is the short shoot between 2 and 3 on the entry into turn number 3, and setting yourself up for a good turn 3 to have a good long run down the straightaway here. So important.
That's right. And when it comes to cornering, really in any cornering in racing, whether it's ovals, road courses, what have you, getting a lot of momentum out of the corner to extend that straight is really one of the biggest things that you want to be good at as a racing driver. And I feel like Pocono is one of the prime examples of a track where that pays off the most. If you can get yourself positioned in the corner to lengthen that straightaway ever so slightly, get your momentum up there, it's going to pay dividends, especially at a track like this.
It certainly is, and you can see Amanda still coming up to speed as we've got multiple other drivers, probably about 20 other drivers on track right now. You see the names flashing down at the bottom of the screen, and we'll take a quick look. We'll pull this up here for our qualifying session here so we can see how our Scrambler Series drivers are doing. 8 Scrambler Series drivers enter into tonight's race. 6 will leave still eligible.
That's right, and a reminder as to how the Scrambler Series works. We are in the playoffs this late in the season, and every week we are eliminating at least one driver. It's the lowest finishing of those who remain. Tonight, however, it is a double elimination, so we're going to cut out 7th and 8th place out of the contenders at the end of tonight's result. We're also going to be doing that next week for another 2. As it sits at the moment, Cody Gibson top of the board after 1 lap.
Gary Bowman moves up to the top of the board in front of Cody Gibson. Gary Bowman, strong competitor. I really got to think, Arie, of all the tracks in the Scrambler Series, I think this is probably Gary's best opportunity to sneak in a win and take a checkered flag before the end of the season. You think about long green flag runs here, and I don't know if there's another driver that comes to mind quite like Gary.
Yeah, Gary's certainly one of the first names that comes to mind for me here at Pocono. I know I've had to hold off Gary for a win here in the past. Very strong at this track and perfectly lined up on the schedule for him to try and advance into the final 6 after the checkered flag tonight falls. And I think we all know Gary's capable of being a final 6 driver. I mean, just last season, he was a driver in the final 4 at that. We're going to see where he could put that 8 truck off of the 3rd and final corner. Now coming to the start-finish line. He's currently provisionally on pole, and is that Andy Cork on the front row as Gary finishes his second lap?
Out of Graybeard Racing, that 41 of Andy Cork and the Fit Father Project running strong out here tonight. 7 of the 8 qualifiers for the Scrambler Series, all inside the top 10, as Andy Cork's going to mess up his second lap here. And big surprise with Greg Mitchell on his first lap, 22nd, Arie.
That's right. Greg Mitchell has not had the speed in practice that we would have expected through that first lap. Currently sitting 22nd on the board. We'll see if that 55 car can get it figured out. We know he's quick here at Pocono. Had a podium finish the last time the Cyber Thunder Racing League came out here to this track, and we'll see what he can do here. Perhaps more of a race distance kind of an effort out of that 55, but we'll see as he makes his way down the short chute here into the final turn. This will be Greg's second and final lap.
Yeah, this is going to be huge if this doesn't improve by very much. He is 23rd out of 27 drivers who have taken to the track right now, with Gary Bowman still tentatively holding on to the provisional pole as drivers have about 30 seconds remaining. Second lap for Mitchell, going to be good enough for 4th.
That it is. All the way up the board goes the 55, and as it sits, it looks like that's going to be all of the competitive laps that we see out of these drivers. Not everyone made 2 laps. Some drivers only electing for 1, or perhaps maybe they messed up on the second lap. Whatever the case, just about 10 seconds left before qualifying officially wraps up. And I tell you what, star of the show, Tom, Andy Cork, going to be starting on the front row.
How about Andy? Andy is one of those drivers that anytime he has a good qualifying effort or a good race, it's just a feel-good story for everybody, and a solid top 5 starting position for Mr. Cork in that 41.
Love to see it, and I am sure everyone is rooting on Andy in the session as we speak. With all that said and done, though, it's time to set our grid for 90 laps at Pocono tonight. Take a look at our official starting lineup right here. And it's going to be led by Gary Bowman in the 8 truck. We were just talking about him in qualifying. Second place, Andy Cork in the 41. Row 2 is going to be consisted of Andrew Caldwell and Greg Mitchell, 2 of our highest contenders this season. We've got Cody Gibson rounding out the top 5, looking for his 4th win in a row. Ed Jurgen starts us off in P6, Chris Rose in 7th, Brad Holmes, Matt Semple, 2 more of our contenders starting 8th and 9th, and Lee Campbell rounds out the top 10.
On the outside of the top 10 looking in, you got Jason Raymond rolling off from 11th place out here tonight. He's in front of Tanner Marr on the outside of row number 6. Nathan Dufton in the 47 has been showing some speed over the past couple of weeks, and the lowest qualifying Scrambler Series driver is Mike Stiverson in 14th. Brian Dorsey going to bring the famous number 9, good enough for 15th in qualifying. Logan Spencer is 16th with Rick Thompson directly behind him. Rounding out the top 20, we've got Phil Van Vliet, the Lone Dutchman, Corey Sherman, and Larry Bell.
In 21st, it's going to be Leroy Koblenz, followed by Dave Gainforth in the 101. 23rd is Eric Anderson, Steven Music in 24th. In 25th, it's going to be Jared Kimmerly. In 26th, Chris Letts. The War Wagon, Amanda Sherman in 27th. Frank DiMaggio in 28th. And shotgun on the field, it's going to be Casey Tomlinson in the 52.
Our field of 29 gets set to go racing out here tonight for 90 laps from the Tricky Triangle. Arie, as I know, a lot of butterflies in these drivers' stomachs. Stage number 1 going to be a short one, only 25 laps.
That's right. It'll be a short one, but to let everyone out there at home watching know, we expect a fuel run to be about 20 to 21 laps, so not good to make it to the end of stage 1 on fuel if it were to go green. And, you know, some drivers might say, oh, 4 laps? I could probably save 4, but let's not forget the Pocono Raceway. This is a 2-mile track. Good luck saving 4 entire laps. That's 8 miles of fuel in that short amount of time. I just don't see it happening, Tom, not unless we get a caution with some pace laps.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe in stage number 2, where we're going to have a couple of yellow flag laps built in, maybe it'll be a little bit more of a realistic possibility, but we're going to find out who tries to stretch it, if anybody tries to, and who is able to set sail. Gary Bowman is going to be the control car for the start of the race, and he's going to have Andy Cork to his outside. Arie, it's time we go racing once again here on a Tuesday night.
I'm looking forward to it. We've got 2 drivers at risk tonight. Whoever the lowest 2 out of our Scrambler Series competitors are going to be, we're going to find out. But at the moment, Gary Bowman has put himself in the safest spot, starting this race out on the pole, looking to get back to that 8 cars winning ways. Everybody out there looking to break the streak held by Cody Gibson at 3 in a row. Pace car is going to take that sharp left-hand turn, and it's going to be Gary Bowman and Andy Cork leading us to the green flag.
For the first time tonight, Barney's going to send us on our way into the restart zone we go, and everybody's going to be 190 miles an hour plus by the time they get down into turn number 1. And they're going to be 2 and 3 and maybe even 4 wide here at times throughout the course of tonight's race.
Looks like the top 2 are going to get clear of Andy Cork on the outside. Top 3, that's Gibson, Caldwell, and Bowman in no particular order. We got Chris Rose up here, too, looking for 4th place by the end of turn 1.
On the exit of turn number 1, Gary Bowman able to secure the race lead in front of Andrew Caldwell. Cody Gibson slots into 3rd with Chris Rose in 4th. The top 5, top 6 is single filed out right now. First battle on track 4 position, Matt Semple on the inside of Greg Mitchell.
Going 2x2 through the tunnel turn is always a little bit sketchy, and 3 wide through there is almost unheard of, so got to be a little careful there. We're going to see Greg Mitchell look to the inside of Andy Cork in the 41, try and get himself up into the top 5 and chasing down those 4 before they can get too far away.
1 lap done, 1 lap out of the way for these drivers, 89 more to go in tonight's event. Gary Bowman going to take a bonus point for leading lap number 1. Chris Rose steps out half a lane on the inside. He's going to take a look down to the inside of the Cheetos machine, and that is Cody Gibson up on the outside in danger of losing 3rd place.
Cody Gibson's going to try and make that high line work coming off of turn 1 right here. He's going to have the momentum down the long straightaway here towards the tunnel turn. We can kind of get an idea for the momentum right here as the accordion effect plays, 2nd catching 1st, 3rd catching 2nd, all the way down into the trickiest corner on this racetrack.
Through turn 2, the tunnel turn, They're going to work their way through into turn number 3. Tanner Marr on the inside of teammate Jason Raymond. That's a battle for a top 10 running position as Tanner looks to take away 8th place from Jason. Directly behind them, you've got one of the 2 lowest running championship drivers. That's Mike Stuyvesant directly behind these drivers.
That's right, Mike Stuyvesant currently in top 10, which is a great spot to be running, all things considered. But at this point, when there's only 8 contenders remaining, not where you want to be sitting. Mike Stuyvesant in 10th, Ed Jurgen in 11th, the bottom 2 out of our contenders, but still very early on in this race.
What has happened to Matt Semple here? Matt Semple down 11 positions here from his qualifying effort, currently in 20th, the lowest of the championship-eligible drivers. Could we be seeing maybe some fuel strategy here from the 16? This is a big risk if that's the case.
Oh, that's a very good catch. I did not see that the 16 was all the way down here, down 12 positions. Could very well be a little bit of fuel saving coming out of the 16 car. A little further up ahead, we have got some near 3-wide action. These guys are getting extremely dicey, and considering there's 3 of our playoff contenders in this mix, this is, you're going to be holding your breath here.
Yeah, 2 out of the 3 going to be holding their breath, and Mike going to be holding his as well. Brad Holmes leads this little pack down the front stretch. He's got Ed Jurgen, last week's, well, where did he come from? Driver in Ed Jurgen on the inside. Currently runs up inside the top 10 as they come across. Mike Stuyvesant's going to put a nose up to the outside of that number 92 and try to carry the momentum and take a spot away.
Drivers not all single-filed out yet. It looks like at the moment it's going to be the top 9 who have gotten single-filed out. The first side-by-side battle on track, it's Lee Campbell, Ed Jurgen, unless they can get this sorted, but watch out because here comes Philip Van Vliet in the 89, another driver who has historically done well at Pocono.
Second place is up for grabs right now as it looks like Cody Gibson starting to close in on Andrew Caldwell just a little bit. As Greg Mitchell, Chris Rose, these drivers going to go side by side through the corner. I noticed Cody was closing in on the back of that 46 as he has been doing the past couple of weeks. I feel like the past 3 weeks really has been the 46 and the 1 show.
It really has been, and they're both 2 out of the top 3, Gary Bowman being the outlier, currently leading this race. And we're going to see as these battles continue to happen just behind. Cody Gibson's prep to get a good run down the straightaway right here. You can see him closing that gap to the 8 before we get to the tunnel turn. I don't know if he'll be able to stick a nose in there. He's going to bring the 46 along with him. Through turn 2 we go. How close can Gibson stay?
Cody Gibson's going to back up and allow Gary to take the lead through the tunnel turn once again, but he may be setting himself up for an opportunity to look to the inside on the entry into turn number 3. Does not look like he's going to do it just yet. Gary Bowman continues to race as the leader, but here comes Andrew Caldwell back for second, but here comes Greg Mitchell up on the outside.
That's right. You can see the 1 car of Gibson takes the lead. Here comes Mitchell in the 55. He's actually going to check up just a little bit. Down the front straightaway we go, getting a look from the blimp aerial view. Andy Cork back there in 5th place, holding on. Gibson, new race leader.
Driver hanging out in the top 5 right now, started second out here. Andy Cork still running inside the top 5 as a couple of drivers haven't made his way around that 41, but good opening couple of laps here for the 41.
It absolutely has been doing good to hold himself up with the track position that he qualified with. See all these drivers on their entry into turn 2 right here. Most of the field has gotten themselves spaced out pretty nicely up to this point. No, not a lot of close battles on track right now. We do have Brad Holmes and Tanner Marr battling for P7.
Brad Holmes, one of the championship eligible drivers, and he currently runs, let's say,
Oh,
third,
contact.
yeah, a little bit of contact there between, I want to say, was that the 07 and 41 maybe on the exit of the corner. Frank DiMaggio's coming down on pit road here.
DiMaggio on the 24 are going to be coming down for what is likely a fuel pit stop right here to make it to the end of the stage. Now, these drivers do have the benefit of not needing to stretch out the fuel. You're not going to go a lap down here if you're just topping off on fuel. The track is big enough. So really, if you know you're going to have to stop for fuel at some point regardless, it doesn't really hurt whenever you do. If anything, you might be able to jump these guys if a caution comes out and you already made your pit stop.
Yeah, I just got to think the draft probably has enough of an effect here, right? That these 6 drivers running in a row are going to be faster than the 24. Even if Frank, we're only 7 laps in on tires. There's not going to be that much of a difference, but I do like to have in the draft.
I'm going to differ with you here, Tom. I don't know with the corners that we have. I don't know that it's going to make too much of a difference. We can see the difference on track right here. They're about half a track away at the moment. I don't think they'll catch in 20 laps. Maybe if it was a longer distance, we might be looking at a different situation here. But I don't know. If we get a caution and the 24 gets up in front, well, he's going to be feeling pretty good about that one. We'll see how it all goes. But Greg Mitchell, he's now up to P3 and looking to take P2 from Bowman.
Top 6 have walked away from the battle for about the 7th place position, being led by Tanner Marr. Behind this, got 2 little packs going on right now as Greg Mitchell takes a look on the inside of Gary Bowman. He may have some difficulty making this pass because Andrew Caldwell looks to take the outside lane following the 8, depending on how they exit turn 3.
Looks like Mitchell's going to clear early on in the corner, drove it in deep, made sure to get that pass done. Now he can set his sights on his biggest rival for the championship. It has been the Gibson and Mitchell show all season, and here we go again, now running 1-2. Can Greg Mitchell get up there and dethrone the 1 truck this week in Pocono?
Lap number 9 underway from Pocono Raceway out here tonight as Greg Mitchell takes a look on the inside and attempts to take the race lead for the first time out here tonight from race leader Cody Gibson. He's going to have a nose on the inside by the time they get to the tunnel.
And having that inside line into the tunnel turn is an advantage. We're going to see how Gibson handles that outside line. It can get very sketchy there through the tunnel turn. He does hold on very well. He is going to have the help of the 8 truck closing in, but turn 3, this is a turn with a lot of different options right here. No real advantage or disadvantage, just how you play it.
A lot of the advantage comes depending on who the 3rd place car goes with, and we'll see what Gary Bowman does here. Gary's kind of running about the middle lane right here. Everybody's going to slot back up in line, pick up some draft, and wake off of the 1 Chevy Silverado of Gibson, and they're going to race 196 miles an hour down into turn number 1.
I tell you what, Pocono certainly is one of the most fascinating races to watch, given just how different the straightaways are from the corners, as we see everyone fan out in their respective lines through each turn, and on the straightaway, everyone's bunching up like an accordion, trying to all stay tucked behind that first car in line, get as much draft as they can. This time, Greg Mitchell's going to take a wider line through turn 2, maybe not by design, and we have a yellow. Big incident in turn 2.
Mike Stiverson around, Brad Holmes around.
Oh my goodness.
Multiple cars involved
A
here.
parking lot. Matt Semple, one of our contenders, still in the middle of all of this. What a disaster. The amount of red that I see in my feed right now. Oh my. We're going to need a number of replays right here, and I want to say this started a little further up in the field. Let's see if we can't take a look from the blimp here as Ed Jurgen gets into the left rear quarter panel of the 4 truck heading down into turn 2. Whether they came together or not, we'll get another angle. Brad Holmes checking up. He's going to get sideways. And you see, that's kind of a trend, Tom. Everyone checking up, it just kicks the rear end out for these trucks. It's such a bad spot on the racetrack to catch the wreck. Stiverson gets some damage. The 00 with some damage. 2 of our playoff contenders. We're going to go a little bit further back and try and see what happens with the rest of these guys right here as they all manage to get through. And there's more drivers who come in here. So here we can see Semple can't get caught up in time. The 42, the 43, the 19, they can't get slowed up in time. The 3 truck can't get slowed up in time. This is just unbelievable here. Let's get a couple onboard shots here. I think the one that I'm thinking of at the moment is going to be the 3 of Corey Sherman, who comes in pretty late. I mean, he started checking up, but man, it was just such a bad part on the track. You could hear him getting out of the gas. He was slowing up. See if we can't get one more view right here. We know where it started with Tanner Marr and company. We'll try and get another view right here entering the tunnel turn. Here we are then. That is where it begins. And this entire pack right here, for the most part, all going to find themselves involved. Everyone is on pit road in the meantime, in real time, and we are going to see from right here all of this unfold. Ed Jurgen, the lucky one truck to make it through. Tanner Marr, all things considered, I think does scrape through pretty okay. Everyone else here just in this kerfuffle, and it is just going to continue to pile in here. Brian Dorsey goes for a ride.
Championship runners are. You got Matt Semple involved. Brad Holmes took a pretty big hit. Mike Stiverson has some significant damage to the front of that Tundra. So a couple of drivers here with real implications.
Oh, absolutely. I'm waiting to get a good shot of the 16 right here as soon as they all get going. Got some significant rear end damage for the 16. Let's see if we can't get a view here. Oh, wow. That is a lot of front end damage.
That is a lot of damage. Let's take a look at these cars on pit road. You got Mike Stiverson on pit road. Can't see the front of his car. Who else we got? Matt Semple back here. You can still see kind of the effects from it. The left side of that car really damaged. You could see the left front tire peeking out there. Who else was involved? You had Brad Holmes involved. Looks like Brad is going to get away mostly unscathed, but he did take a pretty good left side hit to the driver's side door.
That he did. A number of our contenders with some damage early on, and now it is going to be a race of attrition from this point out. We have more than 2 contenders who suffered damage, so now it's going to come down all of these guys getting their damage as fixed as they can and just outlasting some of the others. Huge wreck here at Pocono. Everyone has come down on pit road, and everyone is good to go to the end of the stage. Notably, though, Tom, a mix of tires versus no tires. The top 5, Gibson, Mitchell, Rose, Caldwell, Letts, all electing to take fuel only, whereas Gary Bowman, Andy Quirk, Ed Jurgen, and the rest take 4 tires. So a little bit of a mixed bag here.
Yeah, while all that was happening, we were reviewing the yellow flag there. The top 5 out on track right now did not take tires. Gary Bowman and below did take tires, with maybe 1 or 2 drivers electing not to, kind of mixed in the middle of the bag there.
You see Matt Semple circulating around. Matt Semple, I think, is a driver that most people had making the Final 4 by the time it's all said and done. So this could be big implications. This could be a big upset if the 16 can't get back in good enough running order. That 20 truck looks to be hanging on pretty decently at the moment, all things considered. We won't really know until we get back to green flag conditions to see how much the speed is affected.
You can see a little bit of damage there in front of the left rear tire there on Brad Holmes. You can see a little scrape right about where that black decal is right there. So this kind of really flips the script on its head here, Arie. And, you know, we were talking about Pocono having the opportunity to be the race that some of our championship drivers saw trouble on the track.
That's absolutely right. I think I even told you in practice earlier today, I said I think somebody is going to end up wrecked out of our contenders, and I didn't expect it to happen like that, and they're certainly not out of it, that is for sure. But we're getting ready to restart here as that pace car takes that hard left-hand turn down onto pit road. Now the field is in the hands of Cody Gibson and Greg Mitchell, the top 5 on older tires.
Into the restart zone we go. We're going to see the green flag for the first restart of tonight's race. Mitchell on the outside, Gibson on the inside, Rose on the inside. Rose stays out on older tires, but it's going to be Cody Gibson leading us down to the charge into turn number 1.
All right, watching Gary Bowman here, first driver on 4 fresh tires. How much of a difference are those tires going to make? We're going to find out here. Out of turn 1 we go, looking to the outside of Chris Letts in the 65. He's going to make that pass happen with that momentum, and we are 3 wide, headed towards the tunnel turn. Looks like drivers get it sorted. Casey Tomlinson's going to slide up into the wall.
Hitting the wrong button there. Casey Tomlinson hits the wall on the exit of turn number 2, and multiple drivers going to work their way around the 52. Mike Stiverson on the move back up through the field after taking some damage and getting some damage fixed. He's got is that Larry Bell up on his outside following Tanner.
Whole lot of every which way all of these drivers are going. Hard to call. I don't even know what's going on anymore as we watch the Hornet's Nest unfold. Everyone now kind of got it sorted out 2 by 2 at the moment. Holmes comes down in front of the 09, gets into place, and that 00 is going to look to move forward as well. Meanwhile, all this is happening up front. We have another battle on our hands. Greg Mitchell is there looking for the lead.
Mitchell again to the inside of Cody Gibson on the entry into turn number 2. That seems to be where these drivers are comfortable making passes out here tonight. Mitchell on the inside has to get out of the gas a little bit to avoid contact with Cody Gibson, that Chevy Silverado up on the outside. Gibson on the outside and Mitchell on the inside. Who's going to win the momentum race out of turn 3?
I tell you what, in turn 3, I really like having that outside line. You're going to get that momentum all the way down this really long front straightaway. And Mitchell is going to have to tuck back into line here. Does he have help from the 07? As we got a crash.
Dave Gainforth goes around.
Dave Gainforth involved. That is not Dave Gainforth. There we go. Backwards on the front straightaway. We got Philip Van Vliet, the lone Dutchman. Getting a little boop on the front end right there. Let's go ahead and take a look. See what happened to Mr. Gainforth. Cyber Thunder Hall of Famer here. Coming through turn 3, coming out of turn 3, I should say. Philip Van Vliet looking to the high side of Gainforth. That door is closing. And by the time Philip is there, the wall is there. Dave is there. Just a bunch of drivers all coming together. Does Tanner Marr get a piece? No. Nor does Mike Stiverson. They're able to kind of get out of there. Light contact between the 20 and the 05. But no harm, no foul. And these two come to a rolling stop on the front straightaway. Eric Anderson just getting out of that one. Tell you what, Tom, let's take another look at this from on board the 89 of Philip Van Vliet. Went for a gap, and that gap closed right as he got there. See that happen time and time again, especially in the oval racing side of things. Back up front, Cody Gibson holds on to the lead after being pressured by the 55. Not the first time either. Greg Mitchell looking real racy tonight, not letting Cody Gibson run away with it. And by the way, Chris Rose in the 07 having one heck of a race so far. In recent weeks, Chris Rose has been putting on a performance. We all know he's fast. He's shown it before, but in recent weeks, he's been keeping himself up front, especially early on in the races, and keeping himself out of trouble, which has been a huge, huge step in the right direction. And I think we're all rooting for Chris. Lovely person to have here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Great to see him doing good. Gary Bowman on those fresh tires to follow up from the pit stop halfway through stage 1. Still only sits in P5 at the moment. The top 4 are still drivers who only took fuel, so maybe those tires not as useful as these drivers would have wished, and perhaps maybe wishing that they would have kept that set for later on. But of course, hindsight is 2020. And with that all said, these top 4, Gibson, Mitchell, Rose, Caldwell, they're going to be able to hold on pretty well to the end of the stage, I do believe, at this point, and have that set of tires for later on, so they got to be sitting pretty good at the moment. Looks like Dave Gainforth going to claim fault for that yellow flag right there, give himself an EOL to the back of the field. For those watching at home who might not be aware, Cyber Thunder operates on a claim your cautions basis. So if you believe you are at fault for that yellow, you just speak up, take an end to the longest line, and everyone moves on with their day. And it works out pretty well around here. We got a great group of drivers, all willing to accept blame when it comes down to it. So we'll see the 101 starting at the rear of the field on this restart. Check back in with the 16 of Matt Semple, looking to get some more damage fixed. I would not be surprised if we see the 16 on pit road every single yellow for as long as he's able to be, getting as much damage fixed as he can. We got a long race, so the fact that he got that damage early as opposed to late has probably got to be a big sigh of relief. And Tom, given how big of a track Pocono is, that's also going to be playing into the 16's hands as well.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, you could see, I mean, these drivers just about to make their way into the tunnel turn, and Matt's going to probably have another minute or so here before he has to get rolling off a pit road. But another thing that's going for the 16 is that we've had two early cautions, but we know that there's a stage caution coming at the end of lap number 25, so very soon.
absolutely the case. This is going to be a little shootout. These drivers are good on fuel. We know that much. So at this point, it is pushing all out to the stage. You know you're about to go get some more tires when it rolls over, so you might as well give it everything you got. We're going to go double file this time around. Lights will shut out on that pace car. We're going to see which lane our race leader elects to take. And more importantly, I think when the restart comes, we have yet to see second place on any of these restarts get a great jump and stick with the leader. But I think if they can do that and enter turn one side by side, that is going to open the door wide open.
Quick look at the Scrambler Series as they run right now. A couple of drivers on and off pit road throughout the cycle of pit stops here. Mike Stiverson and Matt Semple, the two lowest running championship eligible drivers. Again, tonight is a double elimination, so we're going to drop the bottom two at the end of tonight. When it's not up on the top right of the screen, they're illuminated on the left side of the tower with that little green bar next to their name, indicating their playoff status.
I tell you what, Tom, that 16 crew, I think they're earning themselves a raise because they have got this truck so much better than how it was looking just 10 laps ago. I don't know, but yeah, let's get a look at that front splitter. I can see it's just ever so slightly maybe been out of shape, but honestly, that's not too bad
compared to what it was. Yeah, no, absolutely not. And this certainly helps out Matt Semple. I mean, still a little bit of damage on the front there, but compared to what it was, night and day difference. But we are restacked, repacked, and we're double wide once again, ready to go green flag racing here again to close out stage number 1.
Front row for the restart is going to consist of Cody Gibson on the inside. That's our control car. Greg Mitchell on the outside. Row 2, Chris Rose, Andrew Caldwell. Row 3, Gary Bowman, Ed Jurgen. Row 4, Chris Letts, Nathan Dufton. Row 5, Andy Cork, and I believe Jason Raymond.
The top 21 drivers did not come down that time. One driver did elect to come down for either damage or fuel, or maybe a combination of the both. That is Larry Bell, all the way back in 22nd place. So the entire top 21 working on the same set of tires out here as they run right now. That yellow flag kind of brought everybody back together on strategy. Pace car down and away, and we're going to see the restart zone once again.
Into the restart zone we go. Cody Gibson going to get the huge jump on the start and pull away right here. We'll see what Greg Mitchell can do through turn 1. He's going to come from a couple car lengths back as we take a look. Cody Gibson slides up into the racing line here. Down into turn 1 we go. The whole field looking to capture their line. I'll figure it out someday.
The field's going to fan out, and then they're going to get skinny once again as they exit turn number 1. Chris Rose, the first car out of line, up inside the top 5 as Ed Jurgen's going to get around him for a 4th place running position. Got Gary Bowman directly behind him here as these drivers up towards the front of the field, starting to see the end of stage number 1 here, as we're going to see 5 laps to go next time by.
5 laps to go, and these drivers know it. They're going for every stage point that they can get. Not to mention the track position into stage 2, which will certainly be helpful as well. We've got some close battles happening in the mid-pack part of the field right now. So we watch all these drivers get sorted out down the front straightaway and on towards turn 1. Jason Raymond all the way down there, a couple lanes down, trying to catch some draft all off of those drivers in front. And Ed Jurgen looking pretty racy up here.
So one thing that I'm noticing here, Arie, is we're following the close battles out on track right now. One thing that I'm noticing is Matt Semple got that truck repaired, but he is still back in 27th place. Now, I don't know if he is avoiding stuff, knowing that he's going to come down here in another lap or two, or if maybe there's some engine damage on that 16, but currently not moving forward for the 16.
Yeah, engine damage would be a significant blow for the 16 if that is the case. This is not the track where you want to be down a single horsepower. And we have issues further back. Jarrett Camilli in the 33, slow on the inside, and it looked like a fender was popped out of place on that truck. It looks like that left front has some severe damage right there. Absolutely going to need some repairs on that truck. Let's go ahead and rewind the tape here. Let's see what happened with the 33 truck coming out of the tunnel turn 2. See if we can't get a good shot of what happened right here. The 20 truck's going to come to the inside, and Mike Stiverson gets into the left rear right here. Implications for one of our playoff drivers in the 20 of Stiverson sends Kimili down into that inside wall. That is going to be 2 big hits, both on the left side, one to the rear, one to the front. and not what you want to see for the driver of the 33. I want to get another look, and this time let's see if we can't catch an onboard shot from Stuyvesant in the 20. Get one more shot right here. I'm really curious to see if this was just two drivers coming together or what happened here. Coming out of turn 2, both drivers giving themselves plenty of room. On the exit right here, the 33 is kind of running half a lane off the wall. The 20 keeps coming up. Probably expected the 33 to be a little higher, and then they come together right there. Sends the 33 down to the inside. We'll see how this is deemed under the review under yellow here, but Kimberly going to get a lot of damage to that truck and certainly spend some time on pit road getting that thing repaired. You can actually see it right here. That entire front left fender is stuck behind the tire right there. You can see underneath the hood. Certainly don't want to be racing around on track like that. That rear spoiler has a little bit of a flare on the end of it, and this should, I do believe, bring us to the end of stage 1. Because this caution happened within the designation, that does mean stage 1 is over. Cody Gibson scores the stage win ahead of Greg Mitchell, Andrew Caldwell, and the rest.
That is correct. Stage is over. Drivers are aware that we will likely have an extended yellow flag condition here to bring us to the conclusion of stage number 1. But drivers all on pit road. Going to see mostly 4 tires up and down pit road. Gary Bowman at the front of pit road. Looks like he's going to come out 2nd or 3rd behind Ed Jurgen with maybe a 2-tire stop here.
Interesting stuff. We do know some drivers had already taken 4 earlier on, halfway through the stage there. Take a look at our Scrambler Series results as everyone makes their way off of pit road. As it sits still, Stuyvesant and Semple, say that 5 times fast. And at the moment, if you are Holmes on up, you're feeling pretty good, especially considering those 2 further back do have some damage and traffic that they've got to work through. As we can see right here, driver 33 taking fault for that yellow flag right there. Going to be having the EOL penalty on the restart. And no further action will be needed as these drivers get off of pit road, get restacked behind the pace car. And to Tom's point, a couple of drivers taking 2 tires or fuel only. Ed Jurgen, Gary Bowman, 9-second pit stops. That tells me 2 tires, I want to say, if it's 9 seconds. But then we get some 6, 5, and 7 seconds. That's Jason Raymond, Frank DiMaggio, Andy Cork. Likely fuel only and no tires to complete the top 5 as it sits, and then Cody Gibson, Mitchell Caldwell all the way down. 4 tires, fill it up on fuel, see what you can do. Now, Tom, here's the interesting thing. We were expecting stage 2 to be a stage that you could probably stretch it on fuel because of the caution laps that you got at the start. However, stage 1 didn't go the full length. We're going to start stage 2 with essentially a longer distance than what we had at stage 1, so these drivers really can't make it without a pit stop.
They really can't, and this kind of flips the stage 2 strategy on its head. One driver that I do want to talk to, we don't really get an opportunity really to talk to this driver a whole lot on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. That's Andy Cork in the 41. Andy, Tom, and Arie up here in the booth. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, Tom. Arie, how are you guys?
We're doing good. You're looking good out here tonight, Andy. Driver out of Florida. You started 2nd on the board, and maybe a little concerned that you were going to lose a couple of spots there on the start of the race, but no, you've held strong the entire time.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay with the lead pack. I feel comfortable so far. Tire wear has not been an issue. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I hope to stay up here for as long as I can. We'll see how the race goes.
Now, a couple of yellow flags here in stage number 1. And a stage-ending yellow flag in stage number 1. That's going to extend stage number 2 here. How does that play with your guys' fuel strategy here for stage 2?
Well, I don't think there's enough fuel to make it all the way through the stage. I think there's going to have to be a quick pit just to get a couple of gallons to make it to the end of the stage.
All right, Andy. Regardless,
how it's looking.
All right. Well, we're going to find out together. Are you guys on 2 to go here?
We are, let's see, No, it says waiting on green flag. Does not say 2 to go yet.
Okay, lights are on. That was all I was really looking for. All right, Andy. Well, regardless of how it shakes out, a little bit of an extended caution period here, so appreciate you taking a moment to speak with us. We're going to kick you back down and send you on your way once again.
Thank you, sir. And ma'am.
All right, moving Andy into everybody's channel as we get back into the right area.
I tell you what, Tom.
Cars.
Yeah, while we're doing that, Cody Gibson, among other drivers, decides to come down pit road. I don't like this, Tom, because even with this splash, you cannot make it, even saving. So why come down and splash now when you know you're going to have to come down for another pit stop before the stage is over? Even if they try to go slow and save fuel, I really don't like this call. If you're Cody Gibson, Tanner Marr, Tomlinson, Sherman, Van Vliet, and the rest, it just seems like it's too far of a distance. Not sure if Tom muted himself there, but back up front. Lights are back out on the pace car, so we are going to have an additional lap here all the way around. This yellow is going to stay extended for a little bit. So these drivers topping off, I guess, could be in part because of the caution being extended to cover until the official end of stage 1. I'm not sure if you have input on that.
Yeah, this is, so we are currently working lap number 25. We were scheduled to go back to the green flag. The way that it works here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League is it is the conclusion of lap number 25, which we would be coming to right now here, Arie. So that would trigger the scheduled yellow flag that we build into the iRacing service. So drivers do need to go around one more time, and we'll see the green flag for lap number 26 to 27.
Okay, in that case, Tom, I would not be surprised to see more drivers come down and top off. And to negate what I was saying a minute ago, not a bad call for those drivers who are topping off at the moment. Given that is the case, we're delayed just a little bit before going green. You can see everyone at the back of the field all electing to come down and continue to top off. At this point, you've pretty much made your bed. I think if you're any of the drivers who continue to circulate out on track out front, you know that you're just going for it. There'll probably be a caution. If you're one of the drivers in the back half of the field who keeps coming down on pit road, you are the ones who are going to be saving fuel, trying to get to the end of stage 2 without that additional pit stop.
Yeah, Cody Gibson once again comes down, and drivers are probably going to burn maybe 0.2 of a gallon, maybe 0.3 of a gallon here, rolling around on the pace laps here. So now this kind of sets us up here, Arie. Let's take a quick look. The top 15 from Ed Jurgen, the race leader, to Dave Gainforth. Those drivers did not come down a second or a third time underneath this stage yellow flag. First driver with additional fuel in that vehicle looks like it's going to be Brad Holmes, Matt Semple, and then Cody Gibson.
That it is, and to check in with driver 16, take a look at that front end. I think that's as repaired as that truck is going to get at this point. And looks to be in pretty good shape, but again, just waiting to see if there is some engine damage, if there's some reduced horsepower on that machine once we get up to racing speed, and see if Semple can make his way up through traffic at all. Might be hoping this turns into a fuel strategy race, if anything. If he does end up having that engine damage, there's only so much you can do when you're down on power.
You got a pair of teammates on the front row to restart us here to begin stage number 2. That is Ed Jurgen on the inside, Gary Bowman up on the outside, 2 championship eligible drivers. They've got Andrew Caldwell in 4th, directly behind them, with Jason Raymond on the inside.
Andrew Caldwell finishes out row 2, Andy Cork, Chris Rose in row 3. Pace car is going to take that sharp left-hand turn as a cloud cover rolls in over Pocono Raceway. Going to cool down those track temps. Barney has that green flag in hand, and into the restart zone we go. Ed Jurgen gets on that loud pedal, and down the front straightaway we roll.
Everybody's going to come up through the gears, 4 gears strong as they enter into turn number 1. The entire field behind them fans out, 2 and maybe even 3 wide at times. But at the front of the field, Ed Jurgen able to take the lead from Gary Bowman and bring us into turn number 1. Jason Raymond puts some heat on third-place runner Andrew Caldwell.
Raymond Caldwell going to be side by side down the second straightaway we roll. Everyone in the back trying to figure out where they need to be running at the moment. Got a couple of battles on track. Now Chris Rose in this conversation for 4th, going to enter side by side with the 49.
49's going to get loose on the inside of the tunnel turn down there. He's going to have a spot, an opportunity to lose a spot here, maybe to Chris Letts up on the outside. Not going to do that just yet. He's going to slot in front of the 65 as they enter into turn number 3. Chris Rose defending for 4th.
Defending for 4th, he's got the 49 breathing down his neck at the moment. Down the front straightaway we roll. All of our drivers single filed out at this point. Andy Cork dives back into line. You see Steven Music there running in the top 10 at the moment. Up 15 spots, and we're nearly 3 wide a little further back.
Brad Holmes going to take a look on the inside to Lee Campbell on the entrance to turn number 1. Going to make a pass. This is for about the 13th place running position. Brad Holmes trying to advance a position over fellow championship contender Mike Stiverson.
All right, here we go then. We are up to speed at this point, Tom, and we can kind of see a little bit of that 16 truck in action now that he's back up in the middle of the pack. He's making a pass on the 60 of Lee Campbell, which is a promising sign. We're going to see if it looks like that 16 is fully up to power, if he looks like he's at a disadvantage at the end of the straightaways. So far, so good. I'll be real curious to see what this looks like down this main straightaway.
So far right now, 160 miles an hour as he exits out of turn number 3 at the start-finish line. So Matt is currently hitting about 180, we'll call it 186. And then in a lap here, we're going to go on board with one of his competitors and compare maybe Mike or maybe Cody Gibson to Matt right there and see just where he shakes out.
I like it. And one thing we did here is the 16 car throwing in the clutch on corner entry. So we know he is saving some fuel. Eric Anderson to the inside of Brian Dorsey through the tunnel turn here, trying to make this pass happen before we get to turn 3.
Let's take a look at Andy Cork's top speed here on the front stretch here was 186 for Matt Semple. We'll see what it is for Andy Cork as going to get a little sideways on the exit of turn number 3, but 170 looks like
he does have a lot more draft.
Yeah, a little bit of throttle play here because he's so close to the 65 of Chris, but that tells me that the 16 is still in the hunt here.
Yeah, I think he's up to speed. I think Semple will be okay. All things considered, good to go from here on out. Right now in stage 2, the big question is the fuel situation. And up front, Ed Jurgen, Gary Bowman, Andrew Caldwell continue to lead this race through turn 2 re-roll, pretty much unchanged from the restart.
Solid race so far tonight for Jason Raymond in the 49. Currently runs back in 4th place in front of Greg Mitchell. Jason missed the playoffs, came into our season maybe a little bit late, was not eligible for the playoffs, and certainly had some strong runs throughout the course of this season. Maybe not always the finishes that he wanted or the podiums, but that 49 has been fast at times.
He absolutely has. I think the 49 would have been a worthy playoff contender had he been here for long enough to make it in, and I think next season he will be a contender to make that playoff the running order before it all gets started. I'd be surprised if the 49 isn't a part of it, and I would be surprised if he doesn't rattle off a win by the end of next season as well.
Absolutely agreed, as he showed speed, especially on the short tracks, and we certainly do have our fair share of short tracks on our upcoming season. But back up here to Pocono Raceway, Andy Cork still hanging strong out here tonight, still hanging inside the top 10. He's bringing Nathan Dufton around the 65, and maybe even Steven Music and Brian Dorsey.
Bring that Pop-Tarts Blueberry Chevy of the 09 to the inside of Letts in the 65. A number of drivers in this pack right here, Tom, that don't usually get the shine. The Andy Corks, Nathan Duftons, Chris Letts, Steven Music, Brian Dorsey. A great pack of 5 right there to see contending in the top 10.
Yeah, really good to see some of these contenders out here tonight at Pocono. And Pocono is really not a track that I kind of circled to have these names that we don't see very often up towards the front. But they're doing it tonight.
They certainly are. You see Chris Rose get a huge run to the outside of Jason Raymond, headed down towards turn 2 right here in this breakaway of about 6 trucks. They have got about 2 seconds on the next pack back there, and this is something that you'll see happen a lot in Pocono. We even saw it in stage 1. You'll get a select number of drivers in that front lead pack, and they'll kind of start breaking away. They'll almost draft themselves away, and the field will kind of split into these smaller sections.
We exit turn number 3. Ed Jurgen's going to begin lap number 33 out here tonight. As we run, take a quick look at your Scrambler Series drivers. Bottom 2 runners right now, Matt Semple and Cody Gibson, as they run right now, running 16th and 17th. Gotta imagine Cody Gibson back there after being up towards the front early in tonight's race, just saving as much fuel, using as much draft as he possibly can here, as he's actually going to lose another spot to Corey Sherman. I don't think this is panic mode here for Cody Gibson, but it can turn into panic mode if he does both this and can't save it to the end of stage 2.
Absolutely. We're going to hear just how early he is shutting it off for each one of these corners. Shuts it off nice and early, lets it roll through turn 2 right here. He is not concerned at all with how fast he's going. He's not concerned about the track position. The only thing Cody Gibson wants to do at the moment is save enough fuel to make it without that pit stop. And it's just such a long way to try and save the fuel here that I almost feel like the time you lose from saving this much might be more than what it takes to come down on pit road and get a splash.
I mean, a pit lane time, Arie, last time drivers were on pit road was about 48 seconds for the majority of the field. There was a couple outliers high, a couple outliers low, but about 48 seconds for drivers coming down and either taking 2 tires or no tires. So, I mean, if drivers are going to come down here, they're only going to be spending 45 seconds on pit road. Cody Gibson currently, what is he?
8.5 seconds.
8.5 seconds right now as they run, and we're not even halfway through the stage. That's going to be a tall task.
It will be, and we'll see if these drivers can manage it. He's not the only one. Teammate Tanner Marr on the 4 doing the same thing just behind him. A number of these other drivers as well. Driver who's known for doing this is the 89 of Philip Van Vliet. He's even further back, taking his time. He is currently 19.5 seconds back from race leader Ed Jurgen. And by the way, speaking of race leader, we got a battle.
Gary Bowman on the inside of teammate Ed Jurgen. Ed Jurgen almost going to make contact with his teammate there. That's going to allow Greg Mitchell in the 55 to come through and take the momentum, and maybe Chris Rose as well in the 07. Chris is going to slot back up behind the 92 as they race down the backstretch, but here comes Caldwell to make us 2x2 into the tunnel.
2x2 into the tunnel. When has this ever gone wrong as Rose takes the high line through this corner? Everyone trying to make it through in one piece, and they do. Rose to the outside of Mitchell. Meanwhile, Gary Bowman has taken off and started to run away with it.
Gary Bowman has opened up about a 0.3 of a second lead over teammate Ed Jurgen, but the battle right now for third place, Greg Mitchell and Chris Rose on the exit of turn 3. Chris Rose makes a power move on the outside of the start-finish line, put Chris Rose in a third place running position.
Looks like the leader's getting all figured out. Ed Jurgen's going to give a bump to teammate Gary Bowman, not looking to make the pass at the moment. Might come under fire from Chris Rose in the 07. That truck's looking racy tonight. Looks like he wants more.
He certainly is, as he is all over the back of the 92 Jurgen's Lawn Care Chevy Silverado, coming down the short chute in between turns 1 and 2, or the long stretch, or the short stretch. But these drivers all trying different strategies out here tonight, as we know some of them are saving fuel and some of them don't think they can save it from the word go, so they're just trying to stretch the lead.
Love it when we get some different strategies out there on track. Rose looks to the outside of Jurgen through turn 3. He's going to take the long way around, get a lot of momentum down this front straightaway. Does he get loose out of the corner? He does just a little bit, but he might still have the opportunity. Does he look to the inside? Bump to the 92.
Bump to the 92 of Jurgen, gonna set themselves up for a strong turn 1 down here, and Ed Jurgen's gonna slide up 1, maybe 2 lanes here, and that's going to allow an opportunity for the 07 to take a look on the inside, but that could spell trouble because he could now lose a spot to the 55 and maybe the 49 as well.
That's right. You got to be very careful about when you try to make a move and what you do in the corners here at Pocono. Very much a momentum-based racetrack, very much easy to get caught out of line, and all of a sudden you're losing 2, 3, 4 positions, and you got to go claw those back the hard way.
He's able to slide up in front of the 49 of Jason Raymond as Ed Jurgen now to the back of teammate Gary Bowman once again here, and these drivers still setting their sights as we are going to see the halfway mark between stage 2 here.
Across the line, and we work lap 38 out of 90 in tonight's event. Stage 2 halfway complete with that one. And Greg Mitchell to the outside of the 92 now.
Yeah, Greg Mitchell trying to use the momentum on the outside. The difficulty with this, Arie, is that every time you make a pass up on the outside, it may be preferred at times to make the pass on the outside, but you're using a lot more fuel when you do it.
Yeah, you absolutely are, but I tell you what, Tom, I don't think these drivers out front are saving fuel at the moment. I think these drivers pretty much know that they're going to have to come down and get fuel at some point before the end of the stage, so they're just racing for the track position at the moment. At least I would be pretty surprised if any of them did try and stretch it from this point, given how fast they're running.
Brian Dorsey has a top 10 run going right now as it goes into turn number 3 on the inside of the 41 of Andy Cork. We spoke to Andy a couple of minutes ago. Live on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, still hangs out inside the top 10 as he protects 9th place over Brian Dorsey as we come down here into turn number 1. Group of about 5 cars entering into turn number 1 with Mike Stuyvesant bringing the field up from the rear.
Nathan Dufton leading this short pack right now, currently running in P7. Might be under fire from Andy Cork before too long. Down the Long Pond straight we go. We can see this small field of 5 drivers, small cluster, continuing to battle. Brian Dorsey to the inside of Logan Spencer in the 19.
Spencer's going to lose 1, maybe 2 spots here in the tunnel turn as Mike Stuyvesant takes...
Actually, Logan Spencer is a lap down.
Yeah, that's what confused me there, yeah. Logan Spencer going to lose 2 positions on track there as the lead lap vehicles make their way around him. We're going to slot back just a little bit. Steven Music, Lee Campbell, Eric Anderson, and more. Rick Thompson back in here. Kind of surprised to see Rick running back towards here. I know that he was involved in one of the earlier incidents here, but Rick has been really strong over the past couple of weeks here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League, Arie. We haven't really talked about him tonight.
He certainly has been, and the 76 could very well be a part of the fuel-saving train at the moment. That could be what has him back here. Yet to be seen at this point, but he's currently running about 8 seconds behind race leader, who, by the way, is now Greg Mitchell. Looks like we missed a pass for the race lead. We can go back and catch a view of it because Greg Mitchell is running. Gets to the inside of Gary Bowman.
Yep, Greg's going to take a look down to the inside of Gary Bowman here on the replay as he's just going to slot in. And I don't think that Gary fought him too hard here, Arie. I mean, I do think what you're saying is correct, is that these drivers have already wrote their book. They've closed the chapter on a possibility of saving fuel. So I think maybe these drivers are just looking for a stage-ending caution. That would be their best opportunity. Last time they were on pit road was lap number 22, but we did have 3 or 4 extensions of that yellow flag.
That we did, as we see Raymond in the 49 get into the wall on the exit of turn 1 right there. Going to throw himself and Caldwell up just a little bit. A little further back in that second pack, Brian Dorsey now putting pressure on the 47 of Dufton. Battle for P7.
Nathan's another one of the drivers here around the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. Has had some impressive runs as of late. Currently runs in the 7th place position in front of Brian Dorsey as they come out of turn number 3, and you can start to see these trucks start to be bogged down on the exit here as the RPMs are a little bit lower than what they were when they first started on this run. But Corey Sherman, Eric Anderson back there, looks like to be a side-by-side battle here with a couple of cars involved.
This pack has not given up the fight yet, continually going at it right here, fanning out in each of the corners. And so far, so good. We do have the lap-down truck of Logan Spencer in the mix right here. But I think this pack right here, they're kind of on the fence a little bit maybe of running a little harder versus saving some fuel. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a number of drivers, Tom, who started out this stage trying to save fuel, realized how hard it was going to be, and then decided to start pushing. So you see Corey Sherman get into the outside wall in turn 2 right there. Looking to the outside, he's going to hit it again. Everyone keeps it going, but not what you want to see.
We caught that live on here there for you, Corey, as he's going to lose a little bit of time here, as it sounds like the 43 is coming onto pit road this time. Heard Eric light up, and, well, we've got our first taker to pit road before the pits close here.
Well, there we have it. Eric Anderson's going to be the first one to bring us into green flag pit stops. 8 laps to go in stage 2. Back up front with the lead pack, Mitchell, Bowman, Jurgen, the top 3 as we run. These guys have started to fan out just a little bit more. Tracking drivers who we know are trying to save a bunch of fuel. All the way back 25 seconds. Tanner Marr, Cody Gibson, Casey Tomlinson, Larry Bell, all drivers on track circulating at a much slower pace, trying to make sure they save that fuel. And we are going to check in with that pack as we continue on. How much longer do these lead drivers stay out? Do they continue to run it, hoping for a caution until the tank gets about dry?
Jason Raymond hits pit road from the 5th place running position, and you can see the difference on the track map down there. Just about a half a lap between Ed Jurgen in 3rd and Tanner Marr back in 18th. So that is what it looks like on the track map. Not going to go in danger of going a lap down here, but we will see. We were talking about the opportunity for doing both this and not being able to make the stage on fuel. I think that is probably the biggest what if here over the next 7 laps, especially for the pack in the back.
It certainly will be, and we will keep tabs on it all the way along. We jump throughout the field at some of the closer battles happening. Currently, Rick Thompson, Steven Music, don't count out Corey Sherman either, all battling it out for P13, or excuse me, Chris Letts right there, battling it out for P14 on track. Letts is going to go high right there. Sherman makes his way on through. Jump back up with our race leaders and see if anybody's electing to pit this time. We're going to have Chris Rose in the 07 biting this time. Nathan Dufton, Brian Dorsey, both coming down this time as well. So lap by lap, we are checking more and more drivers off the list.
And the pits do close with 2 laps to go in each stage, so pits only open for another 4 laps here. But the thing here, Arie, is that if we do get a caution within 5 laps to go at the end of the stage, that ends the stage.
It certainly does, and that could be big for these drivers staying out. Might give themselves a great opportunity to secure that track position and get some stage points here if it falls into their lap in just the right way. Continuing to monitor this battle right here in the second pack. Currently a battle for P6 on track. Matt Semple's got it. Andy Cork down to 7th.
Andy Cork going to be hitting pit road this time, as he's going to be bringing that 41 to the attention of the crew. Championship contender Andrew Caldwell comes down pit road, as well as Mike Stiverson and Lee Campbell.
Add Steven Music to that list. Chris Letts to that list as well. And even Leroy Koblenz all going to be making their way down on pit road this time by. Still out on track, the top 3 as it were. Mitchell, Bowman, Jurgen. Now the only 3 remaining out of that lead pack, trying to stretch it as far as they can before making this final pit stop. Currently, the gap to the big fuel savers is 32 seconds. So as it sits, those big fuel savers will come out with the race lead by the time these guys pit, but they're still going to be saving fuel.
Greg Mitchell coming on to pit road this time, that red and white number Chevy Silverado. See him come down, and we'll see if Gary Bowman and Ed Jurgen answer the call as well. And yes, they do. The top 3 runners come down onto pit road. That's going to pass the race lead over to Matt Semple as it runs right now, with Brad Holmes directly behind him. Another pair of teammates.
Another pair of teammates going to stay out. Corey Sherman dives down on pit road this time. Rick Thompson stays out. Logan Spencer a lap down as well back there in the backdrop. Go ahead.
So here's another thing, Arie. These drivers, they need to wait until we complete lap number 50, but then even furthermore on top of that, we need to wait for the 10th place car to complete the lap. 10th place is almost 30 seconds back.
That's right, and they need to do the additional pace lap and a half to catch the pace car and have the pit lane open. So that's usually the part that bites these drivers. They might make it to the end of the stage, but they might not have enough for the additional pacing time needed. We're going to see. I know Matt Semple was saving fuel earlier in the run. I don't think he saved enough. He might have just gotten himself an additional lap or 2 to try and catch the caution. He might even be coming down this time.
Matt Semple going to come down. He's going to bring Brad Holmes with him. 3rd place, Rick Thompson. Take a look, see what the 76 does. He's going to stay out as we see 3 laps to go. And next time by, the pit should close on pit road entry. So next time would be the last opportunity for Rick Thompson to come down. But these drivers don't necessarily realize the 10th place is 30 seconds back.
Well, I tell you what, Tom. I tell you what, I just noticed Cody Gibson isn't even in the lead of this race. Greg Mitchell, Gary Bowman, Ed Jurgen, they pit and remain ahead. So this might be backfiring big time for the fuel savers as opposed to those who decided to run it out and come get some fuel. Because as it shakes out right now, Greg Mitchell is poised to win this stage, assuming Rick Thompson and the 76 can't make it.
Oh, man, this is really going to come down to the finish of stage number 2. I mean, I tell you what, stage number 3 is going to have some fun fuel strategy as well. But before we get there, we got to see what Rick Thompson does, as he may be coming down pit road here, as he's going to get side by side with Logan Spencer on the exit turn number 3. I think he was trying to come down there, Arie.
He might have been trying to come down. He might have just gone into super aggressive fuel saving mode. At this point, he's got 14 seconds to Greg Mitchell. I think he has to save so much fuel that time will vanish, and he will probably be facing a penalty if he has to come down pit road at this point before making it to the end. He's going to tuck back in line behind the 19. He's not going to get much draft right there. He's having to run so slow. Halfway down the long pond straight, he's already going to get out of the gas. Let it ride through the tunnel turn right here. He's got 13 seconds back to P2, and that time is tumbling.
You see him modulating the throttle here as pits are closed this time. He can still come down for service, but there would be a penalty attached if he does have to come down in that number 76. So this time by, we're going to see the white flag for stage number 2. Rick Thompson has a 12-second advantage here as we see the 1 to go signal in stage 2.
Well, we're going to find out if Rick Thompson is done enough. Just at the top of your screen, you see Greg Mitchell coming out of turn 3. One final time around, 10.7 seconds is the gap. Can Rick Thompson limp this truck around to secure the 10 stage points? But let's not forget, 10th place has to cross the finish line before those points are paid out. And 10th place currently sits 19 seconds back. We are going to find out that gap to second place now, 9.7 seconds.
9.5 seconds now, just a moment later, as Rick Thompson still nursing that 76 Ford F-150 around to what may be a stage win out here, but I mean, he is bleeding time right here. He has lost 2.5 seconds this lap.
Down to 8 seconds, make it 7.7. As he gets out of turn 3, he will cross the line in the race lead, but the stage is not over until 10th place. Jason Raymond makes it to the start-finish line. You can see the rest of the race leaders all coming out of turn 3 right there. Jason Raymond 16 seconds behind Rick Thompson as it runs. Thompson is going to be fully on the clutch, 6.1 seconds back. Here comes Raymond now, and the yellow flag is out. And Rick Thompson will secure those 10 stage points. He somehow, some way, manages to secure that bag, Tom. The question now is, does he have enough fuel for the additional lap under yellow that he is going to need? Fourth caution on the night, second stage-ending caution. Stage points going to be paid out, 10 to Rick Thompson for winning stage 2 on fuel. Greg Mitchell in second place, Gary Bowman, Ed Jurgen, Tanner Marr, the top 5 in that stage. Andrew Caldwell, Cody Gibson, Chris Rose, Frank DiMaggio, and Jason Raymond round out the points acquirers. Off of turn 3 we are. Rick Thompson stays out on track one more time here. And now all of these drivers need to catch the pace car right here. He's going to be bunching up the field. Cody Gibson cannot make it an additional lap. Cody Gibson has to come down a closed pit road, and that is going to be a penalty for the one truck coming down a pit road that should be closed at the moment. So Gibson did not save himself enough fuel. Larry Bell has to come down pit road as well at the moment. You can see the 76 truck frantically trying to save as much fuel as he can to make it around one additional time. If Rick Thompson's able to get there without running out of fuel, this will be one of the best fuel-saving performances that I have ever seen. We take a look at our Scrambler Series running order. Under yellow here for stage 2, Cody Gibson, who we know just had to make that pit stop in the closed pits did come down. He is currently the final driver in the running order. Matt Semple also below the cutoff line, 1 spot behind teammate Brad Holmes. If the race ended right now, those would be the 2. And it looks like Rick Thompson might be out of fuel. Rick Thompson through the short chute. Pits open this time. Does not have enough fuel to make it all the way around. And now the entire field will blow by the 76. He did get those 10 stage points. He's going to take the access road. He is going to try and nurse that truck all the way back around and into his pit stall. Hopefully he can get there. Maybe he'll get a push from another driver further back. We're going to find out as he works through turn 3 right here, but he is already way off the pace, and it is not looking too good for that 76 truck. Everybody else down pit road to get their fuel and tires. It looks like Thompson's going to run out of steam just before he can get there. A little bit of an uphill portion right here, and that is going to be all she wrote for the 76. Going to have to tow that machine around, assuming there is not another driver to come into the picture here, and there he goes. All the while, take a look at this. Corey Sherman.
A pair of Shermans.
A pair of Shermans.
Sherman squared.
Sherman squared are going to take the lead as Corey Sherman pit on lap 46, Amanda Sherman on lap 51. And they elect to stay outright here. So this is an interesting call here, Tom. I'm guessing that they decided, hey, let's just pit right before the stage, take all of our stuff then, and then stay out.
Here? She's losing spots here under the yellow flag.
I can't be too sure.
No black flag being shown for Amanda, unless, could she be out of fuel? She's got power.
I really couldn't tell you. Certainly letting everyone around. Not the same for Corey Sherman, who continues to lead this race, having stayed out with that strategy call right there. See the lap down truck of Leroy dive down onto pit road. Not entirely sure why Amanda is dropping to the back, but lights are out on the pace car this time. So how is the strategy going to play out for Corey Sherman? He took 4 tires just before the stage ended, and he's only got a couple of green flag laps on those tires. We've seen 11-lap tire difference not be all that big of a deal, and that could come into play here. If Corey Sherman's got the pace, now that he's got the track position, he could be in a great spot to capitalize at the start of stage 3 here. The only thing is that he's going to have slightly less fuel.
Yeah, and I think the fuel's going to be a bigger issue for the 3 of Corey Sherman than the tires is. I'm not really worried about the tires. What I am worried about is stage number 3 going to be 40 laps. We know that a fuel run is about 20, maybe 21. We've seen some drivers stretch it a little bit to give it a little bit more. But, I mean, he pit on lap number 46 here. I mean, that's going to be at least 2 laps on both sides of the fuel run, and that's going to be a difficult thing to do.
That's right. He could be maybe hoping for a caution at some point throughout the stage to shake it up. Either way, we're going to see. To his inside, Chris Rose, driver who has not gone away all race, now finds himself in great position ahead of the likes of Greg Mitchell. Mike Stiverson's up here, Tom, in P4 at the moment. Great recovery drive from the 20. Row 3 is going to consist of Gary Bowman and Ed Jurgen. Row 4, Caldwell and DiMaggio. That 24 truck sneaking up into the picture for the first time tonight. Lights are on that pace car. Going to take that sharp left-hand turn down onto pit road. This time around, field is in the hands of the black and green 3 on the outside lane for the first time. The leader chooses that lane for the restart. Into the restart zone we go. Corey Sherman in control. Going to hit that loud pedal. Chris Rose on the inside. Going to try and stick with him. Can't quite get there. That outside line's got the jump. Mike Stuyvesant's going to be side by side. No, he's not. Chris Rose clears, dives into line, and down into turn 1 we roll. Stuyvesant to the outside of Mitchell. Can the 20 truck make the run down the Long Pond straight? Yes, he can. Tanner Marr into the wall. A little further back, everyone gets it sorted out. The field is single filed out, 7, 8, 9 cars deep. You got to go all the way back to Steven Music and Tanner Marr for the first side-by-side action. All of our race leaders through the tunnel turn for the first time in Stage 3 clean. Ed Jurgen's going to have a very close call with the wall on exit right there. Gets it sorted, gets back into line. And some of the first battles we got going on, we'll go a little further back. Tanner Marr to the outside of the Pop-Tarts machine. Steven Music to the inside, all the way down the long front straight.
Steven Music is on the inside lane here and having a good run out here tonight inside the top 10. As we've got multiple drivers swerving down the backstretch here, Arie.
That we do. We've got drivers trying to break the draft, drivers trying to follow that draft, getting aggressive with it, and all the while, Mike Stuyvesant in the 20 said, hey, I'm up here now, I might as well go for it. He looked to the inside of Chris Rose, not quite going to get there, though Stuyvesant does have teammate Mitchell in tow right behind him to perhaps help. Gary Bowman to the inside of DiMaggio a little further back. He's going to get that spot. As Jurgen looks to the inside of Mitchell, can't take your eyes off any of these drivers.
No, you cannot. These drivers staying right with each other as it goes. The Scrambler Series got scrambled here, Arie, at the end of stage number 2. Take a look as they run right now. Winner of the last 3 races and 7 wins on the season. Cody Gibson in a potential elimination spot right now, as well as Matt Semple. And Cody Gibson, he's back there a little bit off of the pack, so we could be having trouble for Cody.
Absolutely could be. He seems to have been struggling since he got back there in traffic. Hasn't quite figured out the answer of making up those positions. Once again, we'll keep our eyes on that one truck. If it were the 16 and the 1 to be eliminated, that would be a huge upset for both of those drivers going out this round. We'll see how it goes as Greg Mitchell makes his way to the inside of Stuyvesant. Here comes Chris Rose for the race lead.
Shermanator gets sideways in the tunnel turn, and that's going to allow an opportunity for Chris Rose to point the 07 to the front of this field for the first time out here tonight. Chris Rose looks to lead a lap as he is going to be 3 wide on the exit of 2 with Greg Mitchell on the inside.
Gets so loose out of turn 3. Chris Rose leads the lap, but man, that could have been disaster for one of our playoff contenders in the 55. Everyone gets it sorted. We're going to be 2x2x2x2 into turn 1.
And maybe even more 2x2s as they run right now. Corey Sherman up on the outside gets a push from the 20 of Mike Stuyvesant. That Tundra coming with some air directly behind him, but on the inside you got Greg Mitchell and Chris Rose working together to try to protect the inside line. Mike Stuyvesant going to move up to an effective position number 2 as they go into the tunnel.
Do you think it's go time yet? Buckle up, because these drivers are just getting started into the wall. Goes Stuyvesant, he's good. They keep it corralled. I can't tell if we're 2, 3, or 4 wide at times. We are going to be 3 wide into turn 3. To the inside goes Mitchell, and that's going to send Rose up the track just a little bit. Tanner Marr's going to peek that nose to the outside. We're still going to be 3 wide.
These drivers can't figure out where to go, and this is the point of the race, Arie, that we say a give and take turns into a grab and go, and these guys are grabbing and going like it is a Halloween DoorDash or whatever the kids do these days.
They certainly are, and you can see just how desperate Corey Sherman is to hold on to that race lead, swerving on the straightaways, breaking that toe. Here comes Mike Stuyvesant in that 20 truck to the inside. He peeks the nose. He can't keep it there. To the outside, peeks Caldwell. He can't get there. Here comes Rose with the momentum. The 20 to the inside into the tunnel turn. Contact with the 3. The 3 truck is going to save it, and somehow these drivers get through it in one piece. Corey Sherman going to go from first out of the top 10 just about, as this field is in one absolutely massive kerfuffle through turn 3 here. Greg Mitchell, the big winner, comes out with the race lead. We're still 3 wide down the front straightaway.
Wow, wow, wow. What a move in turn number 2. Contact between the race leaders. Somehow these drivers managed to keep it all pointed in the right direction, but that was certainly a moment of uncertainty for the Scrambler Series drivers, as you had Greg Mitchell, Andrew Caldwell, Mike Stuyvesant, Brad Holmes, Gary Bowman all up in that mix right there, but Greg Mitchell comes out on the other side as the race leader. But here comes Brad Holmes as things maybe settle down just a little bit as we have 30 laps to go.
They're settling down just in time to heat back up as the 00 looks to the inside of Mike Stuyvesant now with a huge run. Brad Holmes is going to try and make this move into turn 3 down on the inside now, looking for the top 5 running position.
Brad Holmes up 8 spots from his qualifying position out here tonight as he tries to slot in front of the 20 on corner exit. He is able to do so, and that's going to advance him to the 4th championship running driver as they run 4 of the top 5, and the top 5 are championship eligible drivers.
Mike Stuyvesant to the inside, still down into turn 1, looking to get this position back. Can he make it stick? Brad Holmes is going to have that momentum on the high side as Chris Rose gets sideways in front of Gary Bowman. They all get it corralled and figured out. We can jump a little further back in the pack and take a look at our lowest 2 running playoff contenders, Matt Semple, Cody Gibson. They're currently running 14th and 15th. They're not that far back, but they are starting to get to the point in the field, Tom, where everyone is 2x2 and the passes are nearly impossible.
It's not even just that, Arie. They've got 5 cars in between them and Gary Bowman. And, I mean, you take a look on board here with Cody Gibson, driver, the number 1 driver out of Colorado. It's only 5 cars, right? But you look at how these drivers are in front of them. It's 5 cars of 2 and maybe even 3 wide at times.
That's right, and Cody Gibson is not going to be following the 16. He wants to get himself in position to maybe pick up one final piece and get himself above the cut line. He goes to the inside. He looks to maybe make it 3 wide. Can't get the nose there quite yet.
He's going to get up on the back of the number 24 of Frank DiMaggio, and he is going to be able to hold the inside line. Now he is in front of Matt Semple as they run right now 12th and 14th in the elimination spots as it runs right now, but we are within 30 laps to go out here. I believe it's going to be about another 5 laps or so before we see drivers start to come down onto pit road, and that's where the story is going to be written.
That it is, and back up front, Greg Mitchell holds on to the lead. Andrew Caldwell, who's been in the picture every single one of these playoff races so far, and Tanner Marr, driver who got eliminated a couple of weeks ago in the hunt. He is just waiting for his opportunity come redemption round time in Michigan in a couple weeks' time, but for now, he wants to go up here and try and lead some laps.
Top 4, a little bit of a breakaway. Mitchell, Caldwell, Marr, and Jurgen. They've got about a 2.5 lead over 5th place Brad Holmes as they run right now, but the top 4 not content to just kind of settle out and run right here. They are still fighting for position as Tanner going to take a look down to the inside of Andrew Caldwell here, maybe on the entry of turn number 2, not just yet.
Get a great look at everyone mostly single filed out throughout the field right now, making their way through turn 2, and that is not a great camera to have right there. Caution flag is out.
Yellow flag is out.
Issues for Steven Music.
Involved.
Looks like our playoff contenders are going to get through unscathed. The 3 truck looks to be involved with some damage as well. Let's go ahead and see if we can't catch a replay right here. And we are going to zoom it out. As it looks like, ooh, this started with Music and maybe Dorsey. As we take one more look. See if we can't grab Steven Music right here. Take the blimp view. Going through turn 2, Music's going to get into the 9 of Dorsey, and the 09 checks up, wants him to save it. He checks up right in front of the 3. No time to react from Corey Sherman. No time to react from Lee Campbell in the 60. No time to react from the 76 of Rick Thompson. Andy Cork finally has the time to react a little further back. He is going to get a slide right here. The 09 gets a big chunk of that. The 3 a big piece of that. The 60 gets a big piece of that. Andy Cork is going to get a big hit right there. Unfortunate. A driver who has been having such a good night tonight. The 101 gets hit from the 52 down on the apron off of the racing surface right there. And it looks like that's going to be everyone who gets involved right there. Some names who are having a great run out here tonight, unfortunately involved in what is our 5th caution of the evening, and the 3 truck is going to claim fault for that yellow flag right there. Getting into the back of the 09 through the tunnel turn, he'll take that EOL penalty, and the drivers will move on. Here we are then, 5th caution. We're working lap 63 out of 90, you cannot make it to the end on fuel. However, you may fancy some tires after that run.
Driver's going to bring us down onto the Pocono pit road down here, led by Greg Mitchell, Andrew Caldwell, Tanner Marr, as they come. Ed Jurgen and Brad Holmes, the top 5, as they all come down onto pit road. And this is going to be interesting to see how this brings the field back together, because we had Matt Semple and Cody Gibson having some issues working their way back up through the field. This may work in their favor here, Arie.
It could very well. We're going to see if they can make up some positions here on pit road. We know that the field being thinned out from these wrecks is certainly going to help them with track position as well. Everyone pulling their way into their pit stalls, and Chris Rose is going to come out. Strategy.
6.75 seconds in the box, so that I don't even know if that's 2 tires, Arie.
That's not. That is fuel only for the 07. No tires there. He says, you know what? I don't think these tires are all that important. He is going to take over the race lead. He wants that track position. And the 07 driver out of New Jersey is going to control this race. I tell you what, Tom, Chris Rose has been absolutely putting on a show in recent weeks since he made his return out here on Tuesday nights. He's hit the ground running. He showed a lot of speed, but for the most part, it's always been in the first half of the race. We see him kind of taper off towards the back half, but here we are now in what might be the very final run of the race, and he's currently put himself in P1.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris has been strong out here all night tonight, and has had an opportunity to lead some laps out here, and now he's going to be the control car on this restart for a restart with, I guess it's going to be about 30 laps to go or so, but this is going to be difficult here for Chris. I mean, what did they just run? They just ran what, about 12 laps on tires there maybe?
12 laps on tires, so he's certainly going to be at a disadvantage. A big part of it will depend on how hard he was running that race car up to this point. We're going to see, because he looked pretty racy in that 12 laps. He was definitely giving it all it was worth, trying to get that race lead. And just behind, you've got 4 tires all the way throughout the field. Greg Mitchell, Andrew Caldwell, and the rest. If we were to go green from here to the end, I do believe we would just be looking at a fuel-only stop under green for most of these drivers. I'm not sure if many of them have the additional tire sets remaining to take tires if they wanted to. Maybe a couple of drivers do if they've saved some up to this point, but we're getting to that point in the race, Tom, where we got to start thinking about how many tires these drivers have left.
Drivers came in here tonight with 5 changes, so 6 total sets, so had a couple of early cautions, maybe used one in the middle of stage 1, one at the end of stage 2. So, I mean, maybe these drivers just working with one set. I mean, maybe Chris is putting himself in a position here where he is saving a set for the end. I mean, we still have a decent way to go in tonight's race. Maybe these other leaders are in a position where they're going to be out of tires if we do get another yellow. I don't really know.
It's an interesting point, and it could work out great for Chris Rose if it does end up swinging that direction later on. We're going to find out. He is in control of this race on the inside line. Greg Mitchell completes the front row. We are going to be restarting this time by. Row 2 is made up of Andrew Caldwell and Tanner Marr. Row 3, Ed Jurgen, Brad Holmes. As it sits, our lowest 2 championship contenders, Matt Semple in 13th, Cody Gibson back there in 11th. They are still the lowest 2 out of our contenders, keeping an eye on those guys. The closest ones to those 2 are going to be Mike Stiverson and Gary Bowman.
Field is getting set to restart once again out here tonight, as we have seen 5 caution flags out here tonight, 2 of them being stages, and we are about to get set to go racing once again to begin lap number 67 out here tonight from the Tricky Triangle. We are green flag racing once again. Chris Rose, the control car on the inside lane, Mitchell up on the outside.
Back on the loud pedal we go. Get these trucks all the way up to about 160, 170 before turn 1. Greg Mitchell got a fantastic restart with help from Tanner Marr in tow, and he is going to take the lead in turn 1. He does have those new tires, and we're 3 wide.
3 wide for the race lead. Rose on the inside, Mitchell in the middle, and Tanner Marr issues in the back. Brian Dorsey in the wall.
Brian Dorsey in the wall. He's going to come across the field. Big right front damage for the 9 truck, but he keeps it on track. He keeps it straight, and we are still under green.
Still green flag racing here as we are 24 laps to go out here tonight at Pocono. as these drivers are not giving up just yet. Cody Gibson on the outside of Gary Bowman.
Here we go then, Cody Gibson, Matt Semple, they have caught some more contenders, and now Gary Bowman and Mike Stiverson, they need to fight for their lives if they want to stay above the cut. As it sits, Cody Gibson is going to move Gary Bowman into the elimination zone, taking that position away. Matt Semple now remains the last driver in line, but he's got an opportunity with Gary Bowman, Cody Gibson, Mike Stiverson just ahead.
Greg Mitchell currently in the race lead, as it has been out here tonight. The scrambler has been moving around. Gary Bowman, Matt Semple in the bottom two running positions as they run right now. Back in 11th place, make it Mike Stiverson and Matt Semple back in 11th and 12th. Battles back here for the final cut position. You got 3 championship eligible drivers, going to be 3 wide.
Here we go then. Gary Bowman looks to put Mike Stiverson in the cutoff zone. These 4 drivers in this pack right here, all 4 battling to not be the last 2. Semple still holds on to that final spot as Gibson runs away in the safe zone, leaving it down to Stiverson and Bowman for the final transfer.
Mike Stiverson able to hold on to a safe spot right now as it goes into turn number 1, but Gary Bowman still there with him. Matt Semple right in the wing. 2 of these 3 drivers would be eliminated after the next 22 laps out here tonight if the race were to run right now. But Cody Gibson has found his way back up into top 10 running position after some mid-race struggles.
That he has. Cody Gibson back into the safe zone as we watch Ed Jurgen make his move to the inside of Andrew Caldwell through turn 2 right there. Caldwell will have the momentum down the short chute. He's going to hold on right there. Chris Rose, who stayed out for that track position, did not work out very good. He's all the way down to P6 since the restart. As we continue to watch these battles unfurl a little further back, Cody Gibson still not in clean air yet. We know he's fast. He won stage 1. He has got the 43 of Eric Anderson trying to give him a little side draft down the front straightaway. Pull him back in line right there, but Gibson wants to go.
Cody Gibson trying to go, but nowhere to go at the moment as he is in a difficult spot here behind Jason Raymond. As Raymond's going to be in the middle of a 3-wide situation as we exit turn number 1 with Eric Anderson possibly on the inside of the 49.
Here we go then, 3 wide with Mike Stiverson into the tunnel turn we go, and they back out of it. Raymond backs out of it right in front of Bowman, who has to check up. He goes high. Here comes Semple on the rear bumper as well. We're almost 3 wide again. So many close calls.
Gary Bowman now in a difficult spot here as he's got Matt Semple working on the inside, and I do believe that these are the 2 lowest running drivers. Yes, they are, as they run right now. So now them passing each other doesn't really do any good. They need to work together to get back to the 20 of Stiverson, who's the next driver eligible to take one of them out of a danger zone.
That they do, and down into turn 1 we roll. Stiverson to the outside of Chris Rose, and we have got trouble just behind, perhaps. I thought I heard a car side. I did. Jason Raymond in the 49. He is going to lose a little bit of time right there, getting sideways into the corner. Let's see if we can't take a look at what happened here, headed down into turn 1 with Jason Raymond in the 49. Looks like DiMaggio is going to send it 3 wide down into the corner. And Semple gets tagged big time. He somehow keeps it out of the wall. The 49 gets it straightened, but wow, that could have been race over for Matt Semple, and that's certainly not going to help him getting out of the elimination zone.
So now what that does for Matt Semple, Matt Semple is now 6.5 seconds off the race leader, but more importantly, it looks like he's going to be about 2.7 seconds away from the next driver that he needs to pass not to get eliminated out here tonight.
That seems to be the case. He is in fuel-saving mode now, especially that he's fallen back a little bit, so this could have changed the strategy for that 16 truck. We're going to monitor that as we go. Back up front, Greg Mitchell leads this race as we work lap number 71. There are 19 laps to go. Tanner Marr has quietly moved himself into P2. He is having a fantastic run and with a chance to win tonight. Tanner Marr
runs in second as we're going to see 18 laps to go out here tonight from the Tricky Triangle. Greg Mitchell continues to lead the overall race. Brad Holmes runs in third, Andrew Caldwell in fourth, Ed Jurgen the top 5 as they run right now, but these drivers not giving up just yet. And oh yeah, what's that one truck doing back here? That one truck of Cody Gibson's getting back into the hunt.
Cody Gibson has found his way through the majority of the traffic, and now he is close enough to the race lead to become a contender once again, just in time for the race to be in the closing stages. He is at the back of this 6-car train on track at the moment, so he is going to have to figure out how to pick these guys off one by one. Brad Holmes is going to look to take over P2 from Tanner Marr down to the inside in turn 3.
So now here, Arie, as we approach, we're within the fuel window here. If you're Matt Semple back here, if you're maybe Gary Bowman, issues on the front stretch here.
Tanner Marr gets turned by the 00 of Brad Holmes, and caution flag is out for the 6th time tonight. Big implications potentially for the likes of Brad Holmes and the 00. Let's go ahead and take a look at this replay, and let's see, coming off of the corner right here, if we can't get a good shot as to what happened here. The 00 sliding up the track. Tanner Marr on the outside gets tagged by the 00, and he is going to go along for the ride. We watched what happened after there live. Let's get another look if we can. Slow it down right here, and we will stay on this camera angle. Coming out of turn 3, both drivers racing hard for this position. The 00 comes up the track quite a bit into the 4 right there. I'm not sure if this can go any other way except on the 00, and if it does, that would be big implications, as it would give the 00 an EOL, or worse if he didn't claim it and it was found to be his fault post-race. We're going to find out what ends up being the situation, but what this does do is put us in a position where we no longer have to think about green flag pit stops. Drivers who aren't comfortable on fuel, they're going to be topping off right here, and drivers who have been saving, I think they will as well, because at this point you're not going to want to be running slow trying to save fuel. Down on a pit road we roll then. Greg Mitchell leads us on. Everybody on down through the field trying to make sure that they're good on fuel. But here comes the strategy question. Do these drivers all elect to take tires? Do they even have the tires to take? How many go for fuel only? Does anyone try 2 tires? And oh, by the way, Rick Thompson did not even pit. Rick Thompson stayed out. Lots of questions to be answered. And with that, Mike Stiverson is going to play the strategy card. The 20 truck comes out in first off of the pit road. 2-tire stop for the 24 tires for everyone on back. And it looks like that's the only strategy play for the most part that I'm seeing throughout this running order, is that of Mike Stiverson, who will be second in the running order if Rick Thompson does not come down pit road this time. Rick Thompson should not have enough fuel to make it to the end. Actually, never mind. Rick Thompson does have enough fuel because he had pit 2 laps before the caution came out. 2 laps ago, Rick Thompson had just made his green flag pit stop for fresh tires. He is effectively now in the catbird seat on brand new tires up front, just by pure coincidence. That is going to make this interesting. Rick Thompson has just propelled himself into contention for the race win with a perfectly timed pit stop under green flag conditions. Mike Stiverson in second place. He took 2 tires on that pit stop. Greg Mitchell, Andrew Caldwell, Brad Holmes. That rounds out our top 5 as it sits. Race results at the end of it will be unofficial in regards to drivers advancing in the scrambler, given that caution was unclaimed, and if post-race review fault lands on the 00, that would be the end of his playoff hopes We will see how it all unfolds, but for now, all we can worry about is what is happening on track. And on track, the lights are out on that pace car, and Rick Thompson, our race leader, is going to choose the outside lane, putting Mike Stuyvesant and his 2 tires on the inside. Row 2 is going to consist of Greg Mitchell, Andrew Caldwell. Row 3 is Brad Holmes, Ed Jurgen. Row 4, Cody Gibson and Chris Rose. Row 5, Gary Bowman and Nathan Dufton.
All right, as drivers get set to go racing once again, no fault found for that caution, so drivers going to have a review post-race, but Arie, this is going to put us here with, it's going to be about 14, 13 laps to go out here tonight. Rick Thompson back up at the front. We've seen him back up at the front before earlier tonight on a fuel strategy. How's he able to hang on with the race lead?
Well, I don't know if you caught it given the caution shenanigans, but Rick Thompson had made a 4-tire fuel stop literally a lap before the yellow came out. So Rick Thompson is in the catbird seat by pure lucky timing of when he pit and the caution came out. He effectively got a free go to the lead card right here, and he is on pretty new tires. He's good to make it to the end. So Rick Thompson, he's now a contender.
All right, well, Rick Thompson, that Ford F-150. Hope he's got Mr. Fred Thompson rooting him on out here tonight, cheering him on. I know Fred sometimes spots for Rick, and father-son duo. Always good to see them out on track, but we're going to go racing once again out here tonight. Pace car is going to get down and out of the way. Rick Thompson, the control car, up on the outside. Mike Stuyvesant on the inside, and green flag racing we are.
Here we are then, on the loud pedal we go. The 76 truck leads us away. Mike Stuyvesant on the inside. On those 2 tires, we're going to see how 2 tires fares for that 20 truck. Watch for that truck to kick loose in turn 1. Down we go towards the corner. Rick Thompson, Andrew Caldwell going to be the first 2 trucks clear, and we're nearly 3 wide into the entry.
Almost 3 wide, but they're able to 2 wide on the exit of turn number 1. Brad Holmes and Greg Mitchell battling door to door. So is Mike Stuyvesant and Andrew Caldwell. Could tonight be the night that Andrew Caldwell finally breaks into victory lane? He's been so close over the past 3 or 4 weeks. Could tonight be the night for Caldwell?
Well, I tell you what, Caldwell's not the only one looking to break through. So is Mike Stuyvesant in the 20. It has been a while since we've seen Stuyvesant in victory lane. Could he have the opportunity here? Greg Mitchell just behind, putting the pressure on big time.
Here comes Greg Mitchell, who led a bunch of laps earlier in tonight's race. He has got Brad Holmes in tow, as he's going to work with teammate Mike Stuyvesant on the front stretch here to try to find their way around that Toyota Tundra and chase down the Ford F-150 of Rick Thompson as they run down into turn number 1. Give us 13 laps to go this time by.
Caldwell touches the wall on entry 01. That's going to mess up his line just a little bit. Can he keep it pinned around the high side? Yes, he can. And those 2 are going to continue to be side by side. Rick Thompson loving what he's seeing. All of this side drafting going on behind him helps his chances. Now they finally get single filed out. Can Caldwell go chase down the 76? And we're 3 wide just behind.
Gary Bowman in the middle of Nathan Dufton and Chris Rose. Difficult spot to be in for Gary, but he's able to find his way out of it as he is able to drive in front of the 07, but now the 07 on the inside of the 16 of Semple and in front of Music.
Semple has got to start moving up in the running order. He has got to get himself in the safe positions here as Ed Jurgen gets into the wall big time. He's going to lose out to Gary Bowman. Ed Jurgen now in the drop zone.
In the drop zone is Ed Jurgen and Matt Semple, but here comes a battle for the race lead. Andrew Caldwell on the inside of the 76 of Rick Thompson, but he's going to have one opportunity to do it before Mike Stuyvesant becomes a factor on the exit of 1.
Here we are then down the Long Pond Straight, and Andrew Caldwell actually got into the wall. Mike Stuyvesant, Greg Mitchell maybe looking for a 2-for-1.
Stuyvesant is going to make his way around the 46, slide up just a little bit, maybe contact between the 2 teammates of the 55 and 20. They're able to carry on. So far, so good. But now Greg Mitchell in a spot to maybe take the spot away from Mike Stuyvesant and maybe go chase down Rick Thompson for the win. Greg Mitchell going to be clear on the exit of turn number 3. Maybe, not just yet. Stuyvesant's got help from the 46s. We've got a yellow flag out here. The 92 involved.
The 92 involved, the 4 involved, big playoff implications as Ed Jurgen has some significant damage to that truck he just scraped by last week. What has happened to Ed Jurgen in the 92 to put himself in this position? Number of contenders in this boat right here. Brad Holmes, Ed Jurgen, the 2 cutoff drivers in this picture. Ed Jurgen is going to get into that outside wall at a very bad time, right in front of Tanner Marr. They both go down to the inside. Logan Spencer nowhere to go. Tanner Marr along for the right. Ed Jurgen, oh my gosh, right into the barrels. That might be race-ending terminal damage for the 92. It looks like it is indeed. Both of those drivers getting a significant hit. Let's see if we can't take a look one more time, and we're going to ride on board with our championship contender, Ed Jurgen, who at this point is likely out of contention with this incident right here. You could hear the engine expire on that truck, and that will be all she wrote. That truck is headed behind the wall, and Ed Jurgen is unfortunately not going to advance past this round. He will, however, have an opportunity in a couple weeks' time at Michigan International Speedway to win that race and win his way into the Final Four during the redemption round. Ed Jurgen's going to be 1 out, and there is still another to be eliminated before it is all said and done. Now it will be the lowest running playoff contender still on track. As it sits, that would be Brad Holmes, currently running in P8. He is 1 position behind teammate Matt Semple, Gary Bowman just ahead, Cody Gibson just ahead, Andrew Caldwell just ahead. All contenders, as a matter of fact, every single driver in the top 8 except our race leader Rick Thompson are our Scrambler Series contenders, and it is going to come down to the lowest running of that bunch. You are going to have a very solid finish, and even then, you may not advance. Brad Holmes is a name that we wouldn't have expected to see in the drop zone based on how he's performed all race tonight. So we'll see if the 00 can dig himself out of this late race hole. We know he's got the speed to do it.
Well, Arie, if you think tonight is intense, just wait until we go to next week's race at Texas Motor Speedway. We're going to be live here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network next Tuesday night for our third, with 3 races to go in the season, as we're going to go from 8 to 6 out here tonight, and next week we're going to go from 6 to 4.
Well, I tell you what, Tom, you could not be more correct, and I gotta say, so far, 80 laps into this race, I think Pocono has been race of the year up to this point.
It's been intense, and you know, you got to wonder if it's that way because of the playoffs and drivers knowing that they can't have a mistake. I mean, you take a look at the top 10 right now. You just said it, with the exception of Rick Thompson, every single driver 2nd through 8th place is a championship eligible driver, and that just shows you that you do not have room for mistakes in these high stakes races.
You certainly do not have room for it. Lights should go out on the pace car this time by as we work our 7th caution of the evening. It will be lap 81 at the start-finish line out of 90 total. This restart will come with less than 10 laps remaining in this race. It is going to be a shootout to the finish. It is going to be an all-out brawl. And let's not forget, even though Ed Jurgen has had to take that truck behind the wall, we are still eliminating 1 more driver. You do not want to be caught in a late race wreck going for the race win.
Well, Arie, if the first 80... I'm sorry?
I was going to say race leader Rick Thompson elects to take the outside lane again. It has not been the most common choice tonight, but he has done it both times now.
All right, if the first 80 laps didn't give us a good enough race, I think the final 10 will make up for it. But I think the first 80 has given us nothing short of a great race out here tonight in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. We've seen differing tire strategies, differing fuel strategies, drivers running out of fuel, and a couple of wrecks eliminating championship eligible drivers out here tonight in the Scrambler Series from the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, and we are about to find out who's going to pick up the checkered flag out here tonight. Could it be Rick Thompson? Rick has been knocking on the door like the SWAT team for the past couple of weeks of trying to get his first win.
Oh, he absolutely has. The driver worthy of it. Let's head back here to row 4. Eyes will be on row 4. Both drivers are the lowest of our championship contenders at the moment. These are teammates, Matt Semple and Brad Holmes, and if it comes down to these two, it is going to be one moves on and one goes home. They will be trying to get ahead of anyone that they can. Cody Gibson and Gary Bowman in the row ahead, but row 4 right there, that is the danger zone as we move back up front and we watch Rick Thompson on the outside in control of this restart with Greg Mitchell to his inside.
Greg Mitchell on the inside, Rick Thompson going to be the control car up on the outside, pace car down and out of the way. We're waiting on Barney to send us on our way as he's going to send that green flag high up in the air, and Rick Thompson sees it for the first time, and he's going to lead us down. It's a turn number 1. Rick Thompson with the lead. Greg Mitchell and Andrew Caldwell racing for second place on the entry into 1.
Here we are then. Rick Thompson has the lead for now. Can he hold on to it? He is going to have to run a perfect 8 laps around the tricky triangle as Andrew Caldwell works the outside line. Mike Stiverson gets loose. He's going to lose out a couple of positions right there. Move Cody Gibson up a spot. We are 3 wide in the cutoff zone.
3, maybe 4 wide down the backstretch here. Brad Holmes on the inside, Matt Semple on the in the middle as they're going to double file out by the time we get into the tunnel turn. But these drivers, the yellow flag is out. Casey Tomlinson involved in the tunnel turn.
Casey Tomlinson going to get some damage in turn 2 right there. That brings out the yellow flag for the 8th time this evening. And as it sits where the caution comes out, Brad Holmes remains the driver in the cutoff. Let's take a look at what happened here to driver 52 as we make our way into turn number 2. We're going to take a look from hopefully a better camera angle. Right here is a 52 on entry. Might get a little help from the 43. Anderson gets in tight, loses the rear end trying to check up. He's going to tag the 52 of Tomlinson. Casey's going to get some big rear end damage into the wall right there. Unfortunate coming together of those two drivers, and that was enough to throw the yellow flag. In a lot of incidents, and a lot of times, that's not a yellow flag. Sometimes the iRacing sim is a little more sensitive. Sometimes it's not. Could have gone either way. This time it's yellow. Eric Anderson's going to claim fault for that one. Driver the 43 will take an end of the longest line penalty on this subsequent restart, and no further action will be necessary. Back to it then. This time Rick Thompson leads ahead of Andrew Caldwell in P2. Cody Gibson has moved his way up to P3 all of a sudden. And Greg Mitchell runs now down in P4, losing a couple spots on that restart. Mike Stiverson fell down to P5 on that restart. Remember, he is operating on only 2 tires from that last pit stop. Matt Semple, he is now out of the cutoff zone and safe. He is ahead of Gary Bowman, who is the final advancing driver. And, of course, Brad Holmes is the second and final driver below the cut as it runs. Ed Jurgen out of this race. Will not advance, and if the race ended right now, the 00 would be the second driver to exit the playoffs. We are going to watch the battle for the race win, the battle to advance in the Scrambler Series, as well as we can. Lights will likely come out on the pace car this time, and we will double stack them.
So, all these cautions here, Arie, does this help or hurt Rick Thompson, being that he's a couple of lap older tires, you know, even if it's only 1 or 2 prior to all this? Does this help or hurt him on the heat cycles here?
It's hard to say for sure. My first instinct is that it actually hurts Rick Thompson because it's helping Cody Gibson. And I think Cody Gibson is going to be a serious threat to steal this victory. He has now gotten himself up to 3rd place. I wasn't entirely confident if the 46 or 55 had enough to get up there and get around the 76, but I know Cody Gibson has won the last 3 races in a row. I know he won stage 1. I know that one truck is seriously fast, and if he wasn't in this picture like he is right now, I would say it's helping the 76 shave off these laps, but I just don't know, Tom. I mean, at this point, we are going to be shaping up for what will be close to a green-white checker. There's only going to be a couple of laps left, and we get another caution, then we are for sure going into overtime. And at that point, it is anyone's game. I do believe the last time we came out here to Pocono, it was pretty much an overtime finish between you, myself, and Greg. And I I don't remember how that race ended. You might need to remind me, but it was intense.
You know, I mean, it was very similar to what we're seeing here, right? I pit right at the right time. A caution came out and had a little bit of a disadvantage on the tires, but very similar to what we're seeing here with the 76.
Yeah, absolutely. And this could work out perfectly for Rick Thompson. What a story it would be if it did play out. What a story it would be for Andrew Caldwell if it did play out. That 46 has been there every single race of the playoffs, as has the one truck. The one's been getting all the spotlight from winning those 3 races, but the 46 has been right there in the conversation the whole time. This time across the line, lights are out on that pace car, and Rick Thompson once again electing to take that outside line. That's going to benefit the 55 of Greg Mitchell restarting in P4, and that is going to be an intense battle between the 1 and the 55 on row 2.
All right, Arie, drivers do have 3 attempts at a overtime finish out here. Some drivers last pit around lap number 70. We get about 20 laps on fuel. A couple of caution flags in here. Any concerns maybe if we go into an overtime finish after this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Fuel concerns 100% if we have to go into overtime. Then the big question becomes, okay, one overtime often leads to multiple overtimes. Do you bite the bullet and pit on the first one, make sure you're good on fuel, and good for 2 to 3 overtime attempts? Do you stay out and hope that you get it done in the first try? It's really a 50-50 gamble. At that point, there is no right or wrong answer. It's just playing the cautions game and hoping that you choose correctly. We'll see if these drivers even have to make that choice. If it goes green from here to the end, it's all fine and dandy, but one more caution and we got to start asking some questions.
We're about to find out as we are about to begin lap number 87 out here tonight from Long Pond, Pennsylvania, behind the iRacing.com pace car. Andrew Caldwell on the inside. Rick Thompson elects once again to take the outside lane here for this restart. He's going to have Greg Mitchell directly behind him, but directly behind Andrew Caldwell on the inside, you got Cody Gibson.
That's right. I wouldn't be surprised if Cody Gibson fancies a 3-wide move into turn 1 if he's got the momentum to do so. We're going to find out here as we get ready to restart this race. Take a look at our aerial view. Rick Thompson on the outside in that 76 speed Mafia Ford F-150 is going to be in control. Pace car takes that hard left-hand turn. Caldwell tries to get a run on the inside. He's going to try and time this restart. Can he do it? No, he can't. Cody Gibson's got to push him.
That's going to hurt Matt Semple back here as he's going to lose a spot or two. Now Cody Gibson going to be able to jump up on the outside and follow the draft of the 55 of Greg Mitchell down into turn number 1. It's all Rick Thompson out front. He's got Greg Mitchell in the mirror.
That he does. Greg Mitchell taking this higher line. He's going to try and get a momentum down the Long Pond straightaway. Can he close in on the 76? Can he peek a nose in there? 4 laps to go.
This time into turn number 2, it's going to be the 76 and the 55. Rick Thompson is going to send that 76 down and have a great tunnel turn here. That's going to allow Cody Gibson to get into the inside of the 55. Not just yet. They're going to be 3 lines in a row into turn number 3.
Here comes Matt Semple, who at one point in this race looked to be down and out. He is now in the top 5, make it top 4 as he moves around the 46.
Quick look at Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes did not get the restart that he needed to get in order to stay in contention. He is currently in a bad spot out here. You got to go 4 or 5 cars up before you find the next car that will keep him safe in the Scrambler Series. But up front, it is all Rick Thompson, Greg Mitchell with 3 laps to go. But here comes Gibson.
Here comes Mitchell and Gibson. They took the outside line in turn 1, and they're going to continue to try and do that to get the run down the Long Pond straightaway. The 55 has the run. He's not there in time to take it through the tunnel turn. The 76 is going to hold on, and Mitchell, he's got to play half defensive here because not only is Gibson there, but so is Semple.
Greg Mitchell is as close as he has been to Rick Thompson, and on the entry into turn number 3, does he get the run on the exit of the corner here? He may just have a good run here as He's got the draft of the 76 and a little bit of room to work behind him as they're too wide behind him. He's going to take a look to the inside, make it the outside into turn number 1 for the 55.
Here we go, the 55 to the outside. We know it's a really good line to have down into the corner. Can the 55 keep it pinned? How hard does the 76 run him? Up the track we go, and out of turn number 1, the 55 grazes the wall. Does he have help from the 1? He does, and Rick Thompson is going to lose out.
Greg needs to hope that the 76 and the 1 race each other through the tunnel here, and they're going to do just that. That's going to put Cody Gibson up on the outside lane here, as we're going to see the white flag this time by. Does Cody Gibson have anything for the 55, as we're going to see 1 lap to go this time by. Brad Holmes at the cut position.
Brad Holmes still in the cup position. The battle is on for P3, and now Cody Gibson will be doing everything he can to chase down race leader Greg Mitchell, who's cutting the draft away. Down towards turn 1 we go. How good is that one truck?
Here comes Cody Gibson trying to take any opportunity at a run into the 55, as he is going to get a good run on the exit of turn number 2. What kind of power does he have? Greg Mitchell's going to drop and lose the draft off of the 55, but Cody Gibson maybe set himself up here for an entry into turn number 2.
Here we go then, into the tunnel turn we go. Cody Gibson gets in tight and high. He's going to lose a lot of track position in turn 2 right there. Not what he needed, as we see Dufton spin to the inside further back. Now Semple up to P2, looking to take away the runner-up spot, but out of turn 3 for the final time. Greg Mitchell is going to win it in Pocono and advance in the Scrambler.
Greg Mitchell picks up another win, moves on to Texas, and our 2 finishing drivers that are the lowest in the Scrambler Series, Brad Holmes, Ed Jurgen, going to be the ones that we say goodbye to at the end of tonight's race.
What could have been for the 00, who ran so quick early on in tonight's event, will be the second driver eliminated, along with the 92, just scraping through the 8 truck of Gary Bowman. The 46 of Andrew Caldwell was going to be the 2 before the cutoff, and what could have been for the 76 of Rick Thompson. Oh, so close yet again to that first career win here in the Cyber Thunder Racing League, but that search will continue after tonight comes home in P5 by the time it's all said and done. And shout out to Jason Raymond in the 49, who worked his way from 9th all the way up to 4th in that final 5-lap shootout. With that all said and done, we are going to try and corral our drivers here for some post-race words. Try to get our top 3 as they were, and see if we can get some words with these guys.
All right, got a couple of things squared away in the post-race here, but I've got Matt Semple, driver, in that number 16 Alto Construction, going to be coming home with another podium finish. Matt, Tom, and Arie up in the booth. Good evening to you.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It is going all right out here tonight. I tell you, I don't know if we've ever seen a better Pocono race. Well, I could think of one, but that Pocono race out here tonight was absolute insanity. 2, 3, 4 wide at times, door banging just to make passes and positions. Kind of bring us through how it was to run those 90 laps.
Yeah, mine didn't start off very good at all. I think it was lap 2 or something. I was going to run over my teammate Brad there, so I jumped on the brakes and I had a really loose setup on. So I got really loose, and thankfully nobody hit me while I was doing a big slide there in turn 1 there. So yeah, that happened. That put me behind the 8 ball, and then I got into that caution that happened quickly after that. So just fighting to fix damage, and kind of can't believe I'm top 3 right now, to be honest.
I tell you what, Arie and I at one point we were getting ready to write the post-race review of you getting eliminated after we saw the damage on the front end of that truck. You took a pretty good lick in the early caution out there, but a couple of cautions allowed you to come down pit road, get that truck fixed up, and I tell you what, it looks like it just rolled off the showroom here. So coming into stage 2, you find yourself in a position that now you've got the truck fixed, but now you need to work your way through the traffic and set yourself up for stage 3. How'd you work your way through that?
It was really hard. Like, Pocono is a really tough track for me there. So as you saw in the broadcast there, I was 15th, 20th most of the race. So it was a real challenge for me. I just didn't have the raw speed. I thought maybe the long runs would maybe go my way, but we didn't really get any of those. So I was kind of, fishing in the dark there for anything I could find. And then I just kind of got the track position there at the end, and the cautions just kept bringing me to the front, and wound up P3.
All right, Matt. Well, you come home tonight finishing 3rd. You advance to the round of 6 at Texas next week. How are you feeling about Texas? And then, your chances at moving on to a championship 4 spot.
Yeah, Texas is it's a good track. Can be tricky, can be slick. So looking forward to it. If we just keep knocking off top 5s like we have been the last couple weeks, we should be in good shape.
All right, Matt. Well, congratulations on a 3rd place finish out here tonight. Going to allow you to say hello and hey to anybody you want to back home watching you come home with another podium finish out here tonight. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my friends and family for watching, mom and dad especially. They tune in every week. It's great to have them watch, and they speak very highly of you both. So thanks to you two for doing the broadcast. Thanks to the race sponsor. Thanks to my teammates, Brad and Logan. We're doing some strategy there and everything, trying to figure all the stuff out. Thanks to my smoking hot wife and my little baby girl there, Margot. And thanks to my co-workers, Donnie and Tim, for watching tonight. And thanks to Alta Construction for sponsoring me this season. If you need any construction needs around the southern, central Ontario area, they're the people to hit you up.
All right, Matt, congratulations on a 3rd place finish out here tonight. We will talk to you next week at Texas.
Thank you.
All right, and the 2nd place finisher should be Cody Gibson out here tonight. I believe Arie Heinzman has hustled her way down to the 1 box.
That I have, and Cody Gibson 1 spot short from completing the 4-in-a-row run, but you still come home in a podium position in a race in which for a good chunk of it you found yourself in the elimination zone. How were you feeling at that point? Were you worrying about it throughout the race when you kind of got stuck back there mid-pack?
At first I wasn't, because we were just saving fuel on that. I think it was the 2nd stage, and then cautions kept rolling up, and I was like, man, so we should have done that or not. And I seen Greg, he was like, I think he was a leader, and he pit, and then he still came out in front of us, and he wasn't saving. I was like, I think we messed up. And then I don't know, it just it was hard fought to get back up here.
Absolutely, that is certainly what it looked like from our end as well. And I tell you what, you got up there, you were there with a chance, and all the chaos at the very end. You were right on Greg Mitchell's tail. What more did you need to catch that 55 in those closing laps?
Probably in that last lap, I didn't need to mess up in the tunnel turn. Put a little bit more pressure on him. In 3, maybe 1 other lap, maybe could have get around him, but I wasn't going to pressure it too hard. I didn't want to, wipe each other out, and it cost us a chance for a championship. So, but man, coming through the pack, like, you get runs, but it's like, should you take them and put yourself in a bad spot? And sometimes I did, and luckily, I think on that one of them last restarts, I pushed Andrew past Greg, and I was like, oh yeah, we're sitting pretty, and then a caution came out.
Yeah, as it goes so often. Well, I tell you what, you survived what was one of the most entertaining Pocono races that either Tom and I have ever seen. It was quite the show that we put on, and at the end of it, you still walk home with another top 2. I tell you what, starting off the playoffs with 3 firsts and a 2nd place is a pretty dang good way to do it. Next week, we head to another double elimination in Texas, and we are already down to 6 drivers. So after next week, we are really cutting it down. How do you feel about Texas, and how do you feel about eliminating 2 more drivers there?
Well, I said last week I hate Pocono and I finished second, so, and I hate Texas. But get them practice laps in, get the tire wear down, and just have your head on your shoulders and pay attention to the people around you.
Absolutely no better way to go about it. Well, we'll open up the floor to you, Cody, to give any hays and highs or shout-outs on the side of that one truck.
Oh, you two up in the booth, like always. You two doing your thing up there. Of course, Greg for the win. All my teammates that's in here helping me out, calling out who's in the playoffs and who's not while I'm trying to race. So I appreciate each and every one of them. Yeah, and then I can't remember who sponsored the race, but appreciate it.
All right, there we have it. Runner-up finisher in tonight's event, Cody Gibson, and that brings us to the man sitting in victory lane, who I believe Tom is caught up with.
I've got the driver, the number 55, Greg Mitchell out of Austin, Texas. Tom and Arie up here in the booth. Hey, how you doing tonight, Greg?
What's going on?
Well, you know, little fun internal thing. We tried to wear you out over this weekend, running the Daytona 24, but did not work. As you come out here tonight and you pick up another win out here tonight. Tonight it's at the Tricky Triangle.
Yeah, I think I'm still sleep driving from this weekend, but no, this was really fun. I love this place. It's one of my favorites, and I was just telling Matt, it kind of has a little road course to it with the way you got to drive the corner, so I enjoy it a lot. And everyone was racing pretty darn good up front. It was fun and frustrating at the same time because you're racing them hard, but you can't get away either. You really got to play with the draft a lot.
Yeah, stage, I guess it was stage 2, is really kind of where we saw maybe things start to flip on the lid a little bit, where Cody Gibson started to save fuel, and then by the time you guys came down, took fuel and came out, you guys were still in front of him. That set you up for a pretty good opportunity for stage 3.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how that was going to work. I was thinking the same thing, but I just didn't want to get back in traffic, so I figured I'll just run her dry and pit. I was actually surprised I came out in front of them, so that worked out really well. I think some of those guys were running out of fuel too, but we were right on the border. I think we needed to run about 23, 24 laps, and you can't race very hard and save fuel then. So they must have fell way back. I don't know where they were at, but they had to have been quite a ways back there.
All right, well, Greg, you come out of here tonight, so now you carry a little bit of momentum into Texas Motor Speedway. Next week probably going to be one of the more intense races that we've seen. I was telling Arie tonight, if you think Pocono is intense out here tonight, just wait another 7 days before we get back to Pocono. What do you expect for Texas, and how are you going to prepare over the next week for your race there?
Just practice a little bit like I always do. Try to figure out the most comfortable wheel settings and try to save tires as best I can. That track's tough to get away from too. So I like Texas. Turn 1's a little weird, but I do like racing Texas a lot. So should be fun. This dang scrambler definitely messes with your head. Like even Mike and I were just talking about, like you're almost scared to race hard in case you make a mistake when everybody, I think minus Ed, was in the top 8 going into that last green flag. So definitely messes with your head on how you want to finish a race.
Well, next week we do it all over again. We press the reset button, and we go from 6 championship eligible drivers down to 4 before we talk about the championship races in the Cyber Thunder Racing League. But Greg, gonna open up the floor for you. Any hays and highs you want to say back home in Austin, Texas? The floor is all yours, sir.
Thanks to Mike for sponsoring us tonight. Thanks to you guys up in the booth, and shout out to my dad who's always watching.
All right, Greg, congratulations once again. We will talk to you next week at Texas Motor Speedway. Greg Mitchell, the big winner, out here tonight at the Tricky Triangle. And that'll do it, Arie. 90 laps down from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. What a race we saw. We went from 8 championship-eligible drivers down to 6. Ed Jurgen, Brad Holmes, the 2 drivers being eliminated at the end of tonight's race. But they say this is a difficult track, and it certainly proved its worth tonight.
That it did, and I tell you what, being probably the most interesting Pocono race I have ever witnessed, after it is all said and done, Tom, we still end up with the top 3 of the season: Greg Mitchell, Cody Gibson, Matt Semple, in no particular order. Somehow, some way, even through all the chaos, at one point it looked like the 16 truck was going to be out of it. At one point it looked like the 1 truck was going to be out of it, and by no means did we see this top 3 being the top 3 at the end of the day, but great performances from these drivers out here today in Pocono, and we look forward to Texas in 1 week's time. Another very tricky challenge, particularly in that turn 1 section that so many drivers will be talking about. But before we head out, let's take a look at our final finishing results for tonight's event. Top of the board, it's the 55 of Greg Mitchell, who is back in victory lane, breaking Cody Gibson's streak. Cody Gibson comes home runner-up ahead of Matt Semple in P3. P4 is going to go to Jason Raymond ahead of Rick Thompson, who rounds out the top 5. 6th place, Mike Stiverson, who advances another round. Andrew Caldwell in 7th. We've got Gary Bowman finishing in P8 ahead of Chris Rose in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Frank DiMaggio.
11th place belongs to Steven Music out here tonight. Brad Holmes in 12th, one of our 2 championship-eligible drivers, eliminated from Scrambler Series contention at the end of tonight's race at Pocono. Andy Cork has a good run out here tonight in 13th. Logan Spencer comes home in 14th, with Amanda Sherman in the War Wagon in 15th. Dave Gainforth comes home in 16th place, with Eric Anderson directly behind him. Jarrett Keemley has a night that he would like to forget here at Pocono, finishing 18th. In the top 20 is Nathan Duffton and Casey Tomlinson.
21st is going to be Leroy Koblenz in the 42, ahead of Lee Campbell, finishing in 22nd. The Ford truck of Tanner Marr brings it home in 23rd. Ed Jurgen, Scrambler Series contender, eliminated today, finishes in 24th, ahead of Philip Van Vliet in 25th. Rounding out the field is going to be Brian Dorsey in 26th, Corey Sherman, the driver of the 3, in 27th, Larry Bell in 28th, and shotgun on the field, driver 65, Chris Letts.
All right, that'll do it. Fans starting to make their way out of Pocono Raceway here. People making their way back to their cars, and champagne flying in victory lane for the 55 of Greg Mitchell. For Arie, Heinzman, and myself here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, we will see you live next Tuesday night from Texas Motor Speedway, where we will determine our Championship 4 at Texas Motor Speedway. If you enjoyed tonight's show, make sure that you click the like button, get subscribed, get notified every single time we go live here on a Tuesday night, and we will see you next week from Texas.